get this money, I'ma kill him with kindness. 1, 2, what the fuck is good, baby? What's good, 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 man? What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How are you all living, baby? Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. We are wearing the official. And your ass is the mice. Nah, you don't really know this. Your daddy was a rat, then your ass is the mice. We have the official Peter Schiff gold Hawaiian Puerto Rican t-shirt on for the man, the myth, the legend himself, who will be here in about an hour and a half. He's running a little bit late, which is crazy. That means I have to actually run a stream. That means that I have to actually run a stream for more than 5 minutes leading up to Peter Schiff, which is crazy. So I actually have responsibility to run a stream, to do my thing. No, I like to dress per the guest, right? So when the meme coin guys get on, I wear a hoodie. When the presidential candidates come on, I wear a suit. And then when Peter Schiff comes on, I wear a Hawaiian shirt and shorts is kind of what we do. Welcome back, man. Welcome back to the stream. I'm not gonna lie. Do I sound bad? I'm sick. I don't know who got me sick, but I'm sick. I feel yeah, I'm actually sick. My voice hurts. My chest hurts. My face is like puffy. It's a little. What are these earrings? David Yurman. I just flipped them. They're the black ones, but I flipped them upside down, and so I'm going a little bit 180 on it. But man, we have a lot to talk about today. We really do. Okay, we have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to get into today. We have a lot to cover today. It was a crazy weekend. Honestly, it was. Citrini dropped probably my favorite article that I've ever read in my entire life. I'm trying to think what I've read that has gotten me more excited. Maybe the first 10 pages of Reminiscence of a Stock Operator was better. I really enjoyed Michael Burry, activist GameStop article, got me excited. There's been a few things that I've read in my life that I have enjoyed, but I'm not sure any of them definitively top Citrini analyst number 3 getting on a speedboat in Oman and swimming in the Strait of Hormuz with a cigar in his mouth, tracking how many ships are sailing through the Strait of Hormuz after being detained by the Omanian CIA. I mean, bro, it's like the craziest thing I've ever read. And it has some actual implications that matter to us. So we're not going to read it because I don't even know if we can read it. I don't really want to get mad at me. Like, it's a paid sub. By the way, it's expensive. And I am not going to force you to buy somebody else's paid Substack, but I mean, there's not that many ways better to spend $700 than that for the year. I think it's $125 for the article per month. And I think basically everybody's paid Substack is fucking slop garbage. And yeah, they just put out incredible work. So we have a lot to talk about that. The Drift post-mortem came out, and it's insane. I wonder what percent of North Korea's GDP is by hacking crypto protocols. It's probably pretty high. I also have entered a new crypto trade, which is insane. Guys, I'm excited about crypto right now. I don't really know when it hit me, but this morning, when the morning call, and I just said out loud for the first time in a while, I'm genuinely excited about crypto right now. So that's happened. We have a deadline on Trump, who, look, I'm just going to call a spade, sounds increasingly deranged and nonsensical. And tomorrow night, I think at 8 p.m. is his deadline. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we just have like a lot to talk about today. They recovered the pilot in Iran, which is insane. Completely insane. Narrative violation on the U.S. empire collapse. It was fucking cold and cool, and we're gonna watch a Breaking Point video about it. And yeah, there's all kinds of drama. They shut down Anthropic, shut down my OpenClaw, which is just like the fucking dumbest thing ever. I'm actually pissed about it. I'm not gonna lie. I probably talked to OpenClaw more than any person in my phone contacts, other than Malcolm, for the last 3 months, and they just nuked it. Probably not the best choice of words there, but not that one. They got rid of it. And yeah, there's like a lot going on. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to get into. Then we have Peter Schiff coming on, who, by the way, I've told you this, and I'm going to tell him it. Peter Schiff on Pace.trade had the most successful call of any interview that we've ever done up until this point. Short Bitcoin, long gold on leverage. The leverage we made up is the most successful trade that has ever been shilled on this stream. Here you go. Let's set the tone a little bit for Schiff. The best performing guest. All right, that's the stream today. It's gonna be a good one. Also, please bear with me. I'm sick. I feel like shit. My head is like all over the place. That doesn't sound right. I'm a little bit all over the place, but that doesn't fucking matter because we have more important shit to talk about. We have more important stuff to cover, and the market doesn't fucking stop for nobody. Market doesn't stop for nobody. All right, roll call, baby. Roll call. Who's here? Caleb, what's good? Dina, what's good? Vivlet, first chatter today. Lumix, what's good? Reeve with a gifted, thank you. Live the Life TV, Hidden Character, Crypto DJ Life, Recto, what's good? Jackson Ray, Kevin, Viblet, One Spicy Meatball, El Dorado, what's good? Rockefeller, what's good? Dev Scuff, Yonan, Poco, what's good? Bongo, what's good? Bongo, Art, what's good? What's good? Joey, what's good? Hammy, what's good? Stone, Darth, Gerlin, Six, Raz, J-Led, Pipe Bomb, House Goblin, Banco, what's good? Chunky Nuts, what's good? Gouda, what's good? What is good? Cuff, baby, Ock, Sax, Kelfie, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Fuck, man. We get it. There's heads here, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? All right. Look, here's the deal. We have a lot to talk about. Before we talk about a lot of it, I have a couple cultural things I want to cover. Also, today's a national championship, college basketball. I think if people want to come out and, denounce sports and say sports are gay and they don't care, you almost, especially as an American, you have an obligation to sit down in front of your TV at 8:50 p.m. EST, order some fucking buffalo wings and some celery and some ranch dressing and dub some wings and watch Dan Hurley coach basketball. It's just like it's like the Super Bowl. Like, it's anti-patriotic to not watch the Super Bowl if you live in America, right? It's just like you have an obligation as an American. And so now I know not all of you are, but especially if you are, you have a deep responsibility to your country to watch this. And even if you're not, it's like you should be surrounding yourself by greatness. And we're just going to see greatness. National champion, yeah, you want to call it slop, whatever. It's like, no, bro. I agree that most of this stuff is, okay? Like carnivals and fairs and most of this stuff is slop. You will never get me to say that sports are slop. And I think I would actually say on the slop word, not liking sports is the most, I think I'm contrarian, but I actually just go with the herd type of take of all time. Like, it actually doxes you as a complete I'm trying to like skip around some words. It doxes you as just a complete normie brain. Someone used the word drone. Just complete chud if you don't like sports. So that's just my take. And on the topic of sports and cultural stuff, I'm not gonna lie, American culture right now, IRL events in America, we may be seeing a bottom counter trend rally, okay? And bro, did anybody go to this? Please. Did anybody go to this? Kanye West made history after being blackballed by the entire industry. 80K people singing Heartless with him at SoFi Stadium in LA. I just left. I would have gone. Bro, I would have gone. Chat, did anybody go to this? Look at this shit. Bro, look at this.
In the night, I hear him talk.
Bro. Is anyone here in production? Like, what is this? What am I even looking at? Brother, what is this? How do you even set this up? Luke, take notes. Dude, I think Luke could... Actually, I saw somebody make a tweet and they said, I would act like a god too. I mean, it's one of the, I don't know. I've never seen anything quite like this, really. I want to see look at this. Here's the best video. Look at all from the same night, bro. Imagine, pull up his coin, stop. What's the ticker? Bro, what are we doing? That, yeah. I don't know. How goated you have to be to come back from his, and bro, look at this.
I'm living in the 21st century. Yo, Dre, hold on. Start that over. Stop that over. They too loud tonight. We gotta hear him do that.
They're too loud tonight. They're too loud. Bro, how honestly, like, how goated of a performer you have to be for Kanye to come back from what he came back from and pull this off is actually insane. So real quick, if you're on YouTube or Twitter and you want to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy, that's the only place I read the chat. It's the place you should come. It's the place you should pull up to. And it's the place where we make shit shake. My take right now, and this isn't like a hot take. This also isn't my take. I didn't like invent this take. Is, okay, for a while, when the internet was still sort of niche, or at least there was niche places to go on the internet, probably like blow off top 2020, 2021, but definitely the 2010s. I felt like the really sick people were like peak hypebeast era, 2015, 16, 17. The coolest groups were on the internet posting, I think. Like even early 2010s, peak forum era, like the cool kids were actually on the internet because it was niche. It was kind of hard to access. They were kind of hard to find. They had their own little bubbles. I wasn't around pre-2010 on the internet. I don't think I even had fucking internet connection until I was like 8, maybe 10. So I don't know pre-2010's internet, but I do know in like the mid-teens of the internet, all the cool kids were online and they were like hidden. And then everybody came online and everybody started spending more time on the internet than they did IRL. And there became nowhere else to hide out. Like, you couldn't really hide on the internet anymore, because if you were lit, you were viral in the algo era, right? Like, probably that post algos, like 2016, 2017, AI algos. And so this isn't my take. I'm not the first person to say this, but I feel like it's happening, where there's this aggressive counter trend rally to doing in-person shit. There is. You see that Kanye thing, and you just think to yourself, I want to be in person doing stuff. I want to go in person and hang out. I want to go do the in-person shit. Aggressive counter trend rally towards gated, probably expensive, hard to access IRL events. This is actually going to relate to a take I'm going to have in a little bit, but I think that this is happening, and I regret to inform you guys that I lived in LA for 3 years. Okay, I lived in LA for 3 years, and I never left my house at all. I did not leave my house in LA. I said it was end of 23, all of 2024, which is a raging bull market, and then all of 25, where I was just like streaming all day and blow off the top with Trump, all of this. I did not leave my house. Like, I probably had 50 drinks in 3 years in LA, like total. I didn't go out. I wasn't going on dates. I did nothing. I locked myself in my room, and I would go out to dinner, but I wasn't partying. I wasn't doing social stuff ever. And I had a blast. But by the end of 25, I was just like really bored. And since I've come to New York, I moved to New York in, I don't know, like January. Dude, I've gone out like every weekend, low key, one night. I've gone out more in 2 months in New York than I did my 3 years in LA. And I regret to inform you that I've been having hella fun. Like, actually having fun. And I've also, like, part of the reason I feel like I became terminally online is because I couldn't talk to and have the conversation with people I wanted to have conversations about. And I've now noticed that all of the nuanced quality discussion is happening in person or in niche group chats. And I'm not very good at group chats, so I can't speak on the group chats. It's all happening in person, bro. Actually, all of the edge and the nuance and the fun discussion is happening in person, which is kind of a shift because it was all Twitter exclusively before, but now everything's like viral slop on Twitter. I mean, look, Twitter's my life. I love this shit so much, obviously. But this is definitely a counter trend for sure. This is like a new thing, at least in my world. This is a new thing where the value on leaving your house in 2024, like the opportunity cost was so high to going out. I felt like every time I go out, I would miss 100 mil runner or some like moment in Telegram or like something happening. Now it feels like the opportunity cost to fading in-person events is so high. It's like, no way this guy was there or that guy was there or that guy was there. And it's not like celebrities, but it's like finance chats. Like, it's sick. It's sick. I don't know. It's really sick, and it's happening, and there's this like in real life edge coming back that I just think it was gone, bro. Chat, what year was the peak of internet alpha? I think 2020 was blow off the top for sure. 2020 was blow off the top. Definitely 2020 was blow off the top. 2018 was a good year for the internet. I mean, 2016, but really before that, I feel like being in Minecraft forums in like 2012, 2013, the shit was niche, and you could actually find alpha just like, it wasn't market trading alpha, but you could find alpha just like scrolling the internet. It's kind of chopped right now. And so I don't know. I think premium for quality in-person experiences is just going to candle, bro. It's candling. Also, New York City is the hub for finance. This is like a Chamath take. It's a really good one. If you're gonna, like, I don't know, for a lot of people, at least in my opinion, if you have the means to do it and the flexibility to do it, if you're a finance person, being at the source is just like GG. So I don't know. The Kanye shit fired me up. Kanye shit really fired me up. Second take, culture. LVMH. People call me a dipshit. Let's actually look at the chart. For shorting LVMH and MC. We'll look at stock market close in a minute. LVMH. No, what the fuck is this? Pretty gross. Pretty, yeah, kind of nasty on this chart. Down like 45% from ATH in 2023. People call me a dipshit for shorting LVMH. The stock is down 40% since I took the position and just had its worst first quarter in history, worse than 2008. Q1 numbers dropped Friday. I don't think the market is bearish enough. Look, I think part of the reason it's going down is a lot of this production, supply chain scares and things of this nature. But I have a cultural take, okay? And my cultural take is that the era of designer is falling on hard times. Luxury consumer is going to zero. And I think, bro, I think it's because of the fake market, okay? I've gone to Canal Street a couple times since I've been in New York. And, dude, have any of you walked up and down Canal Street on a Saturday? I have genuinely never in my life seen anything like what goes on at Canal. It is fucking unreal. It is so unreal that my mind was blown. Like, I've heard about Canal Street. You hear people talk about it. You hear discussions about it. But what is actually going on is just a infinite supply of buyers and sellers of fakes of everything. Watches, Rolex, Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada. Like, bro, everything. AirPods, everything luxury consumer is being faked. And I mean, it's nonstop. I spent a day in Soho. You walked by it a couple times. It is actually nonstop. And so my take on this is that fakes are going to just decimate the luxury market the same way it killed sneakers, okay? In my opinion, fake shoes killed sneakers, okay? Because one of the things that happened that I think is happening in like luxury bags and wallets is that the fakes get so good that you no longer feel pressure to wear fakes for getting called out. You're never like, bro, you're not getting called out on a pair of fake dunks ever. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell. It's not obvious at all. And so one of the things that happened is all of my homies started wearing fake shoes. All of them. All my IRL high school homies started wearing fake shoes. And they started wearing fake shoes because I think you kill the swing states, right? Like, if you are saving up for a pair of Jordans, like a $300-$400 pair of Jordans, okay, and you have to wait like 3 weeks and worth of paychecks to buy these Jordans, instead of waiting 3 weeks, you'll just buy a fake pair for $50 bucks. You're just buying the fakes. And so the rich people are still buying, okay, but everybody else who I'm calling a swing state, who has to wait and save money and be conscious of the purchase, is just no longer buying it. Because there's no reason, like if you're like a rich person, it's like a moral qualm. Like why am I wearing something fake? But basically nobody has the money, right? The 99% of the world does not have the money. And so they're just not buying it anymore. This, I'm telling you, happened to sneakers. I watched it happen to sneakers, okay? I watched all of my friends who, because back in the day, right? Like 2013, 2014, 2015, if you were wearing fake shoes, it was like a hate crime to America. You would get called out, you would get clowned, you would get dunked on. It was an ethics thing. But the real reason it was an ethics thing is not because fakes were wrong, but because people could tell you were wearing fakes. Like, it looked fake. They looked fake. You'd look at it and be like, bro, what the fuck are you wearing? Those aren't Jordans. What are those fake ass shoes? The only thing that changed is not people's ethics, but it's that you could get away with it. You could get away with wearing fake shoes because nobody knows. And no one knows because everyone else is wearing fake shoes. Everyone else is wearing fake shoes. And so the same, bro, I'm telling you, walk up and down Canal Street on a Saturday or whatever. I did it a couple times. Walked up and down. Like, I could not believe my eyes. I was like, what am I looking at? What the fuck am I looking at? What is this? It was mesmerizing. And so the game has shifted, and I think it's a mega trend. I think it's a mega trend. The luxury shit is in trouble. The luxury shit is completely in trouble. No one is wearing anything real, and nobody cares if anyone's wearing nothing real because none of it is real. No one else's are real. Also, good point, Wavy 80. Last thing on this topic. The moment sneakers actually died, I so vividly remember this. 2019 was the fakes market got so bad that the only way to verify real shoes was the StockX tag. That was it. It was the only way you know you were getting fake shoes. If it had the StockX tag, that bitch was like on the blockchain, you're good. And what happened is, I will never forget this. A thread came out from this guy on Twitter who was a bulk seller of Travis Scott ones. And they were like selling, I think, for like $1,100, $1,200 a pop. Fakes were like $75. And this guy goes on Twitter and posts a thread about how he, as a StockX seller, has an 85% hit rate on fake Travis Scott ones getting through StockX verification and approval. $1,100 spread on each pair. And they were moving thousands of these Travis Scotts. And that was it. After that, it was like, StockX isn't even real. I have no way to know if I'm buying reals or fakes. I'm just gonna buy fakes. Fuck it. I'm done. And then that was it. To me, that was the final like nail in the coffin for sneakers. Was when that shit came out. It was just G. It was over. So the kid on Twitter killed it. The game was already dead, but no way to verify, bro. Hate to be that guy. Blockchain's sick. At least you can verify your shit digitally. Blockchain's sick. But once you couldn't trust StockX, it was over, bro. All right, we have a bunch of things to get through. I'm probably gonna we'll skip to market open in 1 second, but here, a couple more things really quick. Number one, Nate Silver, who Elon just tweeted as a retard, tweeted this thread about the accounts with the most engagement on Twitter. And this is pretty dark. I'm not gonna lie. Look at this thread, bro. How many of these accounts do you follow? Most engaged accounts with on Twitter. Elon, obviously. Wall Street Apes, don't know what it is. Nick Sorter, do not know who that is. Popbase, don't know who it is. Eric Daughtry, honestly, I don't know who this is. Gunther Eagleman, don't know who it is. Libs of TikTok, of course. MAGA Voice, no clue. James Woods, no clue. Rapid Response 47 is good. Just tweets Trump announcements. Vivid Prowess, no clue. Fox News, Brian Allen, no clue. C3, no clue. Jackson Hinkle, no clue. The White House, of course. Benny Johnson, no clue. Cat Turd, no clue. Laura Luma, brutal. ACYN, no clue. Scott Pressler, no clue. Reps against Trump, all right. Aaron Rupert, no clue. Mark Levin, no clue. Call to Activism, no clue. Shout out to Polymarket. I don't know who any of these people are, bro. Right Angle News. Jojo from Jers. Cam Higbee. Scott Jennings. Dad, like, what is this, Dad? The only person here I know is Nick Shirley. DC Drano, I know. Piers Morgan. Jimmy, thanks for the gifted. Lindsey Graham is crazy. Andrew Tate, Colin Rugg, Candace Owens, Fuentes, we know. Barack Obama, I didn't even know he tweeted. Kevin Sorbo. Gavin Newsom, Touch, Dan Brazilian. Oh, what's good, yo? Bro, Dan Brazilian is a top, brother. Dan Brazilian is a top 100 Twitter account in 2026. Blazarian, whatever. Bro, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. Dan Blazarian, Jesus, is a top 100 Twitter account in 2026. There's a gap. What do I call him? What do I call him? Dan Brazilian? What does he even do? What does Dan Blazarian even do, bro? Dan BBL Blazarian. What does he even do? What does he do? Why is he famous? Actually, why is he famous? It's like high stakes poker player. It's like, all right, bro. We're like, all right. And I'm a fucking geopolitical commentator. It's like, what? All right, bro. He's famous for poker is crazy. But all right, we got to move on. Oh, last thing on culture real quick. TMZ, I haven't covered this yet. TMZ did this cultural like shift and stopped talking about washed up celebrities that nobody cares about because celebrity culture is kind of cooked. Everything's just markets and politics, and started covering what politicians are doing, senators, Congress, while things are bad for their respective party. And TMZ is back, bro. Like, I've refollowed TMZ. TMZ is fully back. And, bro, they posted this exclusive 30 members of Congress are in Scotland on taxpayers' dime amid the shutdown. I don't even know what these people are. 4.1 million views. TMZ is fully back. And this platform, and maybe all news in general, has just fully 180 shifted to politics. It's crazy. Everything is politics and markets. That's it. It's all just like imploding and converging on politics and markets. But all right, speaking of, that's what we have to talk about right now. We'll set the tone with a Trump video. Let's get it.
He said very nice. Notice he said very nice things about me. He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person. Okay, so don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible. Notice he said very nice things about me. He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person. Okay, so don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible.
It's Kim Jong-un, by the way, that said that to Joe Biden. It was so nasty the way that he did it. So, all right. Somehow, some way, the markets today were relatively uneventful. Despite all odds, the S&P 500 closed today plus 40, plus 0.5%, plus 4%. Before we go over all markets, what positions, if any, have you put on in the last week? And are you up or down on what? What are you trading? Are you up or down? What are you trading? Are you up or down? Crypto does look good. It's part of my list today. Peter Schiff in an hour, 10 minutes. What are you in? What are you in over the last week? And up or down? PA been asked. PA has been asked. Up on XPL. Dude, please. You're wearing jeans. They're jeans. Buying Zeke. Zora tokens. Why? Zora tokens. I didn't even know you could do that anymore. Looking to go long Pump and Zach. Long BTC on Pauly. Have we seen frauds worth the new Ponzi? Is that what they're tweeting about on Twitter? I haven't been paying that much attention to on-chain, but I'm paying attention to alts right now. Is Tau still megachurch? Now we've been off that. It looks pretty good, though. Tau looks decent, actually, but we've been off that. Took profit on gold last week. Nice. Lighter, not bad. Yeah, we'll look at alts in a second. Lighter, Monad, Zcash, and I think Pump. Just close Monad after your show. When did I show it? Did I? I put it in my Telegram that it looks pretty good. Oh, last week. I don't know that I showed it explicitly. Did I? Up on Serenity picks. Yeah, like Serenity's micro cap stocks. Thanks for the 30K. You made 30K off my call. I don't even think I called it. All right, here's where we closed. S&P up 0.5%. Crazy, just insane. Trump is threatening to send Iran to the Stone Age if they don't agree to a deal by tomorrow night at 8 p.m., which they're not going to agree to, and stocks are green. You gotta love how the stock market works. You gotta love how the stock market works. Q's up 0.6, IGV up 0.15, and the Dow is also green. RIP, Pam Bondi. 4 hours now, by the way. What is that? 4 hours now. Interesting. Oil, crude on TradingView is up like 1%. Backdated futures are up a lot, which we're gonna talk about oil. I personally think the oil trade is over. I'll give you my thesis as to why. Crypto looks great. Majors for now is hype is at 37, looks really good. Sol, not so much. Silver's at 73, flat on the day. Dollar's down 0.2. Zcash is up almost 5 and looks pretty good. Monero flat, but 330 respectively. Yeah, market just closed. There we go. ETH 2150, gold's at 4650, looks decent. Bitcoin at almost 70, looks good. 10-year yields are up. TAL looks decent, but it looked better earlier. And stretch is over 100, which means we have to look at this, which means they've bought almost 1,000 Bitcoin today. Insane. Almost 1,000 is insane. What is that? 1,000 times 7. I should know the answer to this. Yeah, insane. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, $70 million. Just disgusting. Taiki had a good tweet about it that we'll get to. Energy green across the board. Defense, Palantir's down. Lockheed, Raytheon are up. Fertilizers are all down a lot. Fertilizer chemicals. Individual names, NVIDIA flat. SanDisk 3. Micron plus 3. Tesla down 2. Remember, Dev has a new... This is going to be a fun one to follow. Tesla. Dev is launching a second token. I cannot imagine Tesla has any positive PA for a while here. I don't know who was interested in bidding here. But did Taiki delete the tweet? Really? No, I still have it. I still have it. We'll come back to it. I don't know who's a marginal buyer of Tesla at this point, knowing what's coming, but that's a different story. Google up 1%, AMD up 1.3. It was up a lot. I think it was up 3 at one point, and then Intel up 1%. Is Tesla short Megachurch Alpha? I don't know. It's a weird one. Like, I'm not a short seller, you know? I don't really know. I'm not a short guy. I'm not a short guy, but I think the why I would not buy Tesla here thesis is pretty obvious. It's like Dev is launching a second token, bro. They're IPOing SpaceX. Like, you can't buy Tesla when that happens. It's just obviously you just as a crypto trader have so much alpha in history and knowing every time a second token or a second NFT or a second project gets launched by the same founder, they both just get destroyed. It's just like how the world works, you know? So I don't know about shorting it, but running from it. Other individual names, we basically just care about Hims, up 6% today. Chat, you think they're working or no? My hair look full? Does it look thick or no? You're acting like he hasn't run SpaceX for years. No, it's not about his ability to run the companies. Stocks aren't crypto retard. No, you're the retard. It's like, it's not about his ability to run the company. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. It's about how much is Tesla PE inflated because it's the only way to get Elon exposure. That's the problem. Okay, it's not about fucking his ability to run the company. And stocks aren't crypto retard, but they trade like crypto. So you tell me. We'll come back. How about that? We'll come back. If I'm wrong, it's good for the world, and if I'm right, I'm just a fucking genius. Pick one. I can't lose. It's like it's one or the other, you know. If I'm wrong, it It like obviously dilutes. It's like, bro, it's just like Tesla PE trades at like a 350 PE, bro. Everything S&P trades at like a 15. It's like so obviously just like how much of that is Elon proxy? It's the only way to get exposure to Elon. Like, of course. It's like if Hyperliquid Jeff launched a second token for Hyper EVM. A second speculative token for Hyper EVM. Does Hyperliquid go down? Like, yeah, no shit. Of course it does. Doesn't change. Doesn't make Tesla cars worse. But obviously Hyperliquid goes down. Like, of course. Individual names we care about. SoFi, can that go up on Kanye? No, certainly not, right? Hood up 1.2, but still looks terrible. Circle looks decent. Strategy had a good day today, up 6. And then last but not least, certainly not least, altcoins, which is a new daily cover for us because they look pretty decent. Zcash, 255, looks good. Lighter, maybe a little trend reversal here. I feel like it reclaimed the first important level above like $1 and looks pretty strong. My entry on Zcash is 256. I'll talk about it in a little bit. Very, very small size. Like, I would like to buy Zcash like above here. I would like to buy Zcash like above here. Above 290s with fucking volume. I'm just bored. So very small nibble just so I can like feel it out a little bit. Lighter I think looks really good. Everything else kind of looks like shit. Not interested, not interested, not interested. Tau looks decent. Not interested. This looks decent as well. It sort of has the lighter chart pump. A little bit less aggressive. And I can't really believe that I'm saying this, but if we're being objective here, pump looks decent. Has the same sort of feel on these charts. What was the other one that I liked is the last one I think looks pretty good is Monad. This objectively looks pretty good as well. Reclaim above here, and I don't even know what happens. But I found myself XPL too. Yeah, fuck this shit, dude. I'm not trading this. Although it looks decent. It actually does look decent, but I'm not interested in XPL. I just will not disgrace the market gods like that. But I have actually found myself being excited about crypto for the first time in a long time. Which, I don't know, I have it slotted for like topic number 4. But I'll just give you my general take on crypto, and I'll come back to it, is that, you know, we're stuck with macro tailwinds, right? When is war going to end? What happens with AI and SaaS apocalypse after? Hype's on the macro one. I don't have hype on the alts. There's a lot of stuff out of the control of crypto. But I think the reason for excitement on crypto is that you basically had every wipeout you could have possibly had at the exact same time that everything you could have ever dreamed of as a crypto participant in 21, 22, 23 is happening, right? ETFs, admin support, clarity on like Clarity Act, but also clarity on what's legal, what's not. Genius, full adoption of stable coins, like tokenization of everything. Like you basically have crypto infiltrating TradFi everywhere. And the only thing that's missing, ironically enough, is the speculative value, which is like, who could have thought, right? Who could have thought the speculative mania is the one thing crypto doesn't have? And I don't think it would take that much of a return on that front for pandemonium again. But the real reason I'm excited about crypto is that I think in the depths of pain here, a couple underpriced and underappreciated use cases have really fleshed themselves out in crypto. Number one being Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid, I think, is underappreciated how important it has been to the silver commodities trade and then oil during the war. It's in a couple months become essential to be watching Hyperliquid. It's the only place to see orders on market close. And I think that that's underpriced. I think it's underpriced as an idea, not even as an asset, but like as an idea. It's underpriced and underappreciated. And it wouldn't take that much. And so 24/7 perps is one use case for crypto that I think is underappreciated, how important it is right now already in the grand scheme of things. Not just as like a little toy, but like in the grand scheme of like real crypto, it's underappreciated how important Hyperliquid is. And then the second is privacy. I really do. I think Zcash and Monero and the idea, the concept of a privacy token is also underappreciated in crypto. And I even Peter Schiff, it's like, yeah, privacy coins are pretty cool. I'm going to ask him about it near the end. But even the most anti fuck crypto, I hate this place kind of guys are like, yeah, privacy is pretty cool. And then in tandem with these other niche topics that pop up like a Tau, and then you see guys like Jason Calacanis and Chamath that never talk about crypto ever, maybe other than Bitcoin, are like, yeah, Tau. And so it's pretty funny that the only ingredient that's missing from crypto is speculation. Like, how did we get there is just unfathomable to me. And I still think the meme coin stuff is pretty cooked until further, unless something structurally changes here or we just get a crazy increase in flows. But the setup is starting to feel pretty good about crypto. Like I don't know, I was talking to some unks yesterday. What's good, Flood? I was talking to some unks yesterday and they were just asking me about crypto, and I was just saying, like, it's crazy that everything you could have ever dreamed of as a participant in the market has happened, and we're just missing this speculation ingredient. But I really do think the things that have worked in crypto are pretty underappreciated. They're underappreciated. Hyperliquid in particular, how quickly it has become, like, if you aren't paying attention to Hyperliquid, you just have a structural disadvantage against the rest. And then privacy being second. And maybe we'll see what Sailor strategy can do with Bitcoin, because I don't know, it just started to look attractive to me. And I think that I wasn't like early, but I was pretty quick to say, look, we're done talking about crypto for now. I was pretty quick to say it. Like I was pretty much like pretty binary. Like, no, we're done for now. And to me, it's becoming interesting again. It's definitely becoming interesting again. Thoughts on Aster? I don't. Like, I just don't. What do you think about Aster? I don't. I really don't. I really don't. And yes, I know people don't use privacy coins, but I think the privacy coins as a concept and the idea that they can exist, I think, is underappreciated as well. So 24/7 perps, privacy coins, and then I don't know. Do I believe in Tau? Like, I don't know. I don't like not believe in it, but I never didn't buy Tau because I was like, this is gonna, change AI. I was like, no. Jason Calacanis is telling me he's gonna fall on the sword and I'm gonna fade him. No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Someone tells you they're gonna fall on the sword for the sake of green candles, and you listen. That's just the way the world works. A figure more powerful than you telegraphs that, you sit back and you listen. Period. Bar none. So that's where I'm at with crypto. Also, my voice is so fried. We're gonna get through it though. We have Schiff in an hour. Speaking of crypto, maybe a little bit less, and we are gonna get into war stuff right now, and then we're gonna talk about Citrini, analyst number 3, which is just my favorite story of all time. So, all right, let's start here. Look, I say this a lot because I want to just reiterate my bias. And I don't want to sound too ridiculous on stream because I'm a patriotic guy. And I also voted for Donald Trump. I would have voted both times for him if I could have voted when I was in 2016. But I'm just honest about how I feel about what's happening at any given time. And these posts just feel increasingly deranged. I'm sorry. They feel increasingly deranged. And he posted this on Sunday, which says Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day. He posted on Easter Sunday, dude. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait. you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. This is, yeah, I mean, this was a crazy Easter post. I'm sorry. It was a crazy Easter post. And I don't think like screaming open the fucking strait to Iran is necessarily like a sign that it's you know, going better than planned. Do you think he was quoting Tyson? No. Do you? No, I don't actually think he was quoting Tyson.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Are you saying now, Mike, that Mike?
That's right.
All right, what the fuck was he going to ask as a follow-up question? What was he going to ask as a follow-up question? Like, just let him go, G. What do you mean, Mike? What are you going to say as a follow-up question? I'm going to be honest. If he was quoting Tyson, it's kind of cold, but no. I think absolutely not. And I think that... Look, I you know what I think is I think that the taco timelines, like I said this in a Telegram a couple days, a week ago, maybe we kind of been talking about this for a while, that the market is no longer reacting to like it's almost over in weeks. Before that would dump oil, like it's almost over in a couple weeks would dump oil. Now that's no. We've heard it too many times. So now it has to be a couple days, right? Like 48 hours is the new couple weeks, which has a much tighter reinforcement reflexivity about it. And so you have to sort of act on it or reinforce with a tighter timeline, right? You don't get as much leeway on 48 hours as you do on 2 weeks because you come to a conclusion a lot faster. So he did a speech today. We'll go over some of the headlines, but I just think we're going to come to a climax on this relatively soon. I also think the oil trade is done, but I'll talk about that about when we get to Citrini aspect, the Citrini article. I do kind of think the oil trade is done, or at least I'm done trading it. So a couple clips. He says every bridge in Iran will be decimated at midnight Tuesday. I think 8 p.m. was the timeline tomorrow. Every power plant will be out of business by midnight. Iran decimation would happen over a 4-hour period, and then. Yeah, so overnight news, last-ditch effort ceasefire plan. Israel hits key Iranian chemical plant. Israel kills head of IRGC intelligence. Trump presser at 1 p.m. that day already happened. And then Trump's Tuesday 8 p.m. deadline looms. We can take a quick look at Poly Market, which our boots on the ground market is cooked because this is ended, resolved because of the pilot, which we'll talk about in a second, which is honestly incredible. I'll get there in a second. Just that is an American W. So this is the only market we really have to go off of, which is a ceasefire. Which is up a little bit. There was these reports of they were trying to get this 45-day ceasefire open last night. I actually quickly longed oil, but then closed it almost right away because I felt like we dumped way too aggressively last night on that news. Iran responded with like a 10-point plan, and then it's sort of been slopped out. So we have April 30 ceasefire, little bounce, like 18 to 28 on this. March 31st. They've all taken a little bounce. Everything's up like 10%, which is honestly good news, especially as I'm just cash right now. So everything bounced a little bit. And this is the main market that we have to go off of for anything relating Iran, as the boots on the ground market is just no longer relevant as it's closed. And so this happened, which is crazy the way this played out, especially after the videos. If you were here on Friday, the videos we watched on Friday. We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He's a highly respected I'm just going to say it wrong. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to man and equipment. It just doesn't happen. The second raid came after the first one, where he rescued the pilot in broad daylight, also unusual, spending 7 hours over Iran. An amazing show of bravery and talent by all. I'll be having a news conference with the military at the Oval Office on Monday at 1 p.m. God bless our great military warriors, President Donald J. Trump. Emphasis on God bless our great military warriors. And the fact that they got this guy out is fucking insane. Because we watched the video on Friday of what he was in Russia. Where was this pilot? I forget the exact context. But getting this guy out of an active war zone is like basically impossible. They sent 155 people in, no casualties, pulled him out. Honestly, yeah, it was in Serbia. We watched this video on Friday if you were here. It is a complete, just like, incredible military feat. And there is this conspiracy theory about why and how this was able to happen, and that it was related to this like nuclear seizure plan. And so I have a breaking points video that I would like to watch for like 5-10 minutes before we get to moving on and going to Citrini. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to get up real quick and let's, yeah, tell me what your take is about this. No, Serbia was like this, this video we watched of a U.S. pilot getting stranded, like a rescue mission, an old one that happened in Serbia, that we watched on YouTube on Friday. But no, this was in Iran, like peak middle of war, Iran. So let's watch a few minutes of this.
By our friend Brandon Weichert. He's a senior editor at 1945.com.
Well.
Great friend of the show. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, as always.
So, Brandon, we want to go through the story of this raid deep inside of Iran to rescue a weapons systems officer who was part of an F-15 crew, which was shot down over Iran. Of course, there's now an official story from the Pentagon. We want to get some of your reaction to all of that and potential some other theories. Let's go and start with Donald Trump's announcement. We'll put it up here on the screen. He says, "We got him, my fellow Americans. Over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history." He talks specifically about how all of the, it's a miraculous operation, etc. The official story of the operation was recounted here by Jack Murphy. He is the journalist actually who broke the initial news that this weapons system officer had been recovered. Let's take a listen to what he said. We're going to get your reaction.
But the broad pieces of it, as you know, there was a F-15 pilot on the ground. He was escaping and evading for about 24 hours inside Iran. And from what we can tell about the effort to get him back, they did a lot of airstrikes to keep the Iranians off of his back. The Iranians have flooded a lot of assets into the area. We're actively searching for him. And meanwhile, we have to get, a ground team, helicopters in to actually extract the guy. And as we now know, they set up what's called a FARP, or a forward air refueling point. And so for like people who aren't familiar, when you have to fly helicopters, but also airplanes sometimes, especially long distances, you have to set up some sort of like a fuel depot.
Bro, we took the bathroom.
I did this many moons ago for little birds in Iraq, just driving out somewhere and taking a fuel bullet out, leaving it in a field for a little bird pilot sometimes. This is a little bit more elaborate. There's a C-130 aircraft flown in that was refueling some of these helicopters. And this kind of plays into, how the pilot was actually pulled out of there. So they occupied this improvised landing strip, set up the FARP, and the pilot was eventually pulled out by little birds. So they went in and extracted him. But then on the way out, the C-130 got, as I understand, a wheel stuck in the sand. It like sunk into the dirt, and the crew was trying to dig it out. And that resulted in some delays. It took them a while to get off of that FARP. And the Delta Force element that was standing by as a quick reaction force was actually called in. They came in and helped blow up the aircraft. I mean, I know one C-130 was blown. Some media reports are saying 2 C-130s. I also believe at least 1 helicopter was blown up. I guess they just determined that they could not recover them and get them home for whatever reason. And after that happened, whichever new aircraft, probably helicopters that they flew in the QRF on, they got everybody on those and flew them back home. And they were back over the Persian Gulf, probably
Potentially 12 aircraft blew up is insane.
around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time last night. And that was pretty much the end of the operation as far as that's concerned. But I mean, the airstrikes are still ongoing.
So that's the official story, Brandon. First, zoom out. Tell us a little bit about what happened here. What does it say strategically about some of the problems already with the United States? And of course, you know, the bravery of the people who also pulled this
Our
off.
last war topic. By
Yeah,
the way.
well, I'll start with that last part first. I mean, I know that there's a narrative the administration is putting out, and I know there's now a counter narrative possibly on social media. I'll just say in either event, I think the professionalism of the U.S. military was on full display. And you know, these people that we have as an all volunteer force are extremely competent, and they can execute missions under a lot of pressure and you know, even under some of the most strenuous circumstances. And so with that being said, I think we have to look at the larger picture here and say this was our first taste of real ground combat in Iran. And you know, we probably got the Wizzo and the pilot, as you know, the administration has said, we've gotten them back home, but look at what it cost us in the process. My colleague Larry Johnson, who's a former CIA analyst, has said that's about $400 million worth of taxpayer equipment that was, you know, destroyed in the process of this operation. That is not sustainable, especially if you look at some of the logistical problems we're having already. Not only are we cannibalizing Indo-PACOM stockpiles for interceptors and some of these JASSM ERs, which are very long range, extended range, long range strike missiles, but also we're already pulling KC-135 refuelers out from the boneyard, which usually indicates that we really are strapped here for stuff. So the idea that we kind of had to blow up some of our own equipment there is, which is the story coming out of the administration, is very disturbing, because we can anticipate if there is a larger ground operation planned, as people have been saying, it's going to be even costlier than what we went through. This is a snapshot. And as for the operation itself, it does seem like there was a lot of resources thrown into recovering two individuals. Now, I know we don't leave our people behind, and we try to, even if they're dead, we try to organize missions to bring their bodies home. That is something that's gone on. The Ranger ethos goes back to the French Indian War, so we don't leave men behind. I understand that, but the people online who are questioning the official
They always hit you with the but. We don't leave people behind, but.
narrative, I think, are not wrong to, because not only has this administration been very misleading in its official statements about everything in the war, but also it's a lot of resources and a lot of money thrown into one mission set.
Yeah, so basically, I read the Reuters inside story of what happened. I read the Wall Street Journal inside story of what
Also, I don't know if I like flip between getting fuzzy when I'm long oil versus not, but Breaking Points has gotten very, I don't want to say anti-US, but a little bit doomer, honestly. A little bit doomer, IMO.
happened. And so the narrative is effectively, you know, this one F-15 was downed. The pilot was rescued really quickly. The other guy was, you know, it was very difficult to find him. He's wounded, but he's able to sort of clamber up the side of this mountain, send off a distress signal. They're able to pinpoint where he is. The CIA also ran some sort of misinformation up to sort of throw the Iranians off of the case. They bring in something like 100 special operators on these C-130s. The C-130s immediately, both of them, get
Bro, you sound like this in your long oil.
stuck in the dirt. Now, I saw the pictures. We just saw some of the pictures. I don't know anything. It looks like the ground's pretty hard there, but who knows? These are very large aircraft, very heavy, et cetera. They bring in these Little Bird helicopters on the C-130 transport planes. Those are then used to go and grab this guy, bring him back. But since the C-130s can't get off the ground, they have to destroy the C-130s, plus some reports say 2, some reports say 4 of the Little Birds, bring in other aircraft, then rescue now this roughly 100 men and potentially women who are now stuck behind enemy lines, get them all out, et cetera. At the same time, you've got Reaper drones and others who are firing in the surrounding area to keep the Iranians or anyone else away from the area where this rescue is happening. So as you listen to that narrative, I agree with you. It's not, you know, it seems to me in line with the ethos of the U.S. military that it would not be crazy to expend that amount of resources. But is it actually necessary to expend that amount of resources? Is this the way that a rescue op would normally go? Is this the normal amount of, like, I don't know what the proper language is, but is this the sort of stuff that you would bring to, would you normally bring in 100 men to accomplish this sort of thing? What would be the reason for that?
The only thing comparable to this level was actually the failed Carter administration Operation Eagle Claw, which actually was very similar to what occurred
We learned
in
about
Iran this last weekend, where Carter had a bunch of a bunch of transport planes meet Navy elements in the middle of the Iranian desert, and they set up kind of a temporary refueling station, and the whole thing went pear-shaped from that moment onward, which it was very similar to here. And of course, in that case, though,
Who is this guy? I like this guy.
Had a lot of American hostages at the embassy, so they needed to have an even larger military force that was able to kind of go in and theoretically get them out. So for two guys, it just seems like a lot of resources were expended. Now, the argument, I think, would be that the Iranian territory is very well defended, and this was very deep inside their territory. So they needed to have enough stuff to punch a hole, land, refuel, and then go out and execute their mission. And under a lot of hostile fire, which we saw those videos coming out of Iran, it looked like something from like a Battlefield video game where it was just incoming everywhere and very confusing modern combat situation. So I think probably
they made it out with
this
no
is not
deaths.
the norm in terms of the amount of resources expended, but this is a pretty extraordinary instance. And if whether it was just a rescue operation or a rescue operation plus something else, the fact of the matter is this is a preview of what to expect if the president really does pull the trigger on putting a larger force on Karg Island or Qasem Island or some other part of Iran. It's going to be a very messy situation.
Right. And I think that's what we're trying to underscore here. Nobody is saying nobody.
I'm good off this. So honestly, to me, it sounds like an incredible feat that they were able to get this guy out. It does. It seems like an incredible feat that they were able to get this guy out. Now I don't know how exactly that bodes for future operation in Iran and what it means for how long this is going to go on for, but yeah, unreal performance. Honestly, they're able to get this guy out. So I don't know. Do you believe the uranium flood? I don't really have a take at this point. I kind of just want to see what happens with tomorrow. Like I don't feel like I have any new takes on the war. All I have is Citrini article, which I'm excited to talk to you about right now. Like I don't know. I felt like I'd had a pretty good understanding for simply that this situation has spiraled and things were way worse in Iran than being reported, partly because everything being reported is fake and misinformation and just blatant lying. And I felt like we as a community were pretty early to that. Like I feel like we sniped that pretty early on. But then as time goes on here, it just gets harder to like every individual nuance of the whole thing. It's like I don't even know how to like fully keep up, and we're doing this full time, So I don't really know what I believe as far as what the real purpose of this was. Also, was it a PR stunt or real? I don't even know how to answer that, honestly. I don't know how to answer that. But anyways, all right. Here's what I want to do is I want to talk about the Citrini article, which, by the way, my computer is like fucking me up right now. For no reason, this thing is like, there we go. Cool. Boom. All right. So an article was posted yesterday. Yeah, I'm good. My laptop, Luke, my laptop. Sorry. You're good. It's my laptop. Citrini posted an article yesterday. Okay. Greetings from the Strait of Hormuz. And it's a paid sub. I'm not going to read the actual article word for word because it is paid and gated and I don't want to get salty. And it's also really long. I'm going to be so honest, bro. The story that I read in the Citrini article is legitimately a $100 million Hollywood A24 movie. I mean, I read a better story in 42 pages of the first half of this article on Citrini Substack that is just, it's better than most movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It honestly is so unfathomable that this is real. It happened that I don't even know what to say. Just if you can't, there's a lot of it. Like a lot of the best parts are on Twitter, screenshots and people's takes and memes, people posting about it and laughing about it and joking about it, covering it. You could get most of the story from Twitter. But if you want the best story that you will read this quarter for sure, it's $125 a month on the Citrini Substack. I don't think I've ever showed a paid sub. And I think most times we just read their paid subs on stream. It is unbelievable how good it is. I swear to you, I was reading it this morning and I almost started crying. I so genuinely almost started crying when I was reading it this morning. But I'm going to go through the quick story. Okay? And no. By the way, I'm not going to pull it up on screen. I don't want. I don't know how the situation works with that. But yeah, I'm not gonna pull up on screen. So basically, what happened, right, is this Strait of Hormuz, Iran-U.S. war is going on, and the entire war is sort of based around, at least the implications of it are based around this choke point that's 21 miles in between Oman and Iran. And it's this water canal, as we know it, where 20% of the world's oil flows through, and it is called the Strait of Hormuz. And so part of the problem that we found as well is that it is basically illegal in all of these Middle East countries to record, take photos, and post, upload anything that's happening regarding the war. You can't do it in Dubai, can't do it in Oman. It's definitely not happening in Iran. I'm not even sure they have internet access right now. There's nowhere that you could do it. And so we are basically at the mercy of what Trump says in interviews and what the Iranian speakers say in interviews and on Twitter. And that has shown to be extremely unreliable, right? Both parties have reasons to lie and reasons to gas shit up and reasons to like fabricate narratives, obviously. Deep incentive to do that, and there's basically no neutral third party reporting on any of this. And so Citrini was basically like, you know, he's in this article and he's basically like, you know, I woke up a morning and I said, what if we just sent somebody to the Strait of Hormuz? What if we just sent someone to the Strait of Hormuz? Which is like an insane, I mean, it's like it's an active war zone, right? There's tankers getting blown up. There's Shahed drones flying overhead. It's an active war zone. And so they say, what if we just sent somebody to the Strait of Hormuz? And, you know, they laugh it off. Yeah, we'll never do it. But like, no. What if we actually sent somebody to the Strait of Hormuz? And so he gets on the phone and starts calling everyone. Like, I think it's pretty easy to get to Dubai. And I think it's relatively easy to get through Dubai into Oman. But then to get from Oman into like the strait, there's like an 18-mile passageway that is only accessible via like a boat. Okay. And so to get close-ish is relative. Also, I'm going to probably mess up details. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just recalling some notes that I took and I read it this morning. It's relatively easy to get close-ish, like to get within 100 miles. But to get from there to the source is like impossible. And so he recalls a story that he's calling everybody. Like, I'm a tourist, or like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. Everybody's just hang up. Finally, he gets this guy that does dolphin tours to be like, yeah, fuck it. I'll take you out. Because you need a boat. You can't like bring a boat. You need a boat and somebody familiar with how it works to get you out. And so this guy that does dolphin tours is like, yeah, fuck it. We'll do it. And so they go. And so first, this guy flies to Dubai and he meets at this like poker game, right? And is talking to all these like, I don't know, they kind of get referenced later in the story. But it's this like elite crew, like this like cabal sort of crew. And he's getting info from these guys that you can't even get on Twitter. They can't really post. They can't talk about what's happening. They can't like post videos or post pictures or nothing. And so they're telling him like, look, April 6th, I think is the date. Yeah, it's today. Is the day shit is going to pop off. Like, make sure you get the fuck out by April 6th. Shit's going to get really bad. That's what they told him. April 6th, shit's going to pop off. And so he plays the poker game, gets some info, leaves at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He's been out for like 24 hours. And he's on the way to the border in Oman. I think Oman's connected to Dubai, and you have to go through Dubai, across the border into Oman. And so he says when he's in Dubai in the back of his car, about to drive up to the border, it's still like a nice area. It still looks nice. A lot of the areas like where there would be people or there would be cars is like completely empty. It's eerie, but it doesn't look like a war zone. And he takes a picture with his phone. And the guy driving the car turns around almost like in disbelief. Like, what the fuck did you take a picture? Like, what did you just do? Why would you do that? How did you just, like, you cannot post. You seriously cannot post. This is why the information arbitrage is so ridiculous. You cannot post. And so this guy has $15,000 cash, a gimbal, a camera, packed in a Pelican case. On top of it, sweatpants, clothes, hoodies. On top of it, cigars, Zins, and cigarettes. And that's it. $15K cash and a burner phone. 2 phones. One's a burner to hide, and one's like a phone that he can get confiscated. And so going through Dubai is like, says it's pretty chill. It's pretty easy. Nothing crazy. They get to Oman, and they're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? I'm a tourist. I speak English. I'm a tourist. I only speak English. I'm a tourist. Whatever. They let him through. And he said once he got to Oman, it was just like chaos. Complete chaos. Like, looks like a disaster. It's a mess. No, he does speak Arabic, but he like lies when he gets pressed. Says I only speak English. So he gets to Oman, and it's just like a fucking, like, actually a war zone, right? And so he's staying in this hotel somewhere deep in Oman. He gets there, he checks in, and I think up until this point, everything is like pretty cool. And one of the things that he says that he like underrated is that he's walking around in like American clothes. He's like, I think he's a white guy walking around in American clothes, American apparel, whatever. And everybody is just like staring at him. Like, cars are stopping. People are turning around. People are opening their windows, peeking out the blinds. Like, he said, I'm walking around with wired headphones talking to Citrini, and the world is like stopping. Like, they've never seen, like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, he's wearing like whatever, Hawaiian shirt, right? So he said he was like a complete just like spectacle target in Oman. And so he gets there, he checks in the hotel, and the dolphin guy cancels. And he's like, fuck my life. What am I supposed to do? And so they say like the whole goal is to go to the Strait of Hormuz and to basically, in his mind, he had this idea that it would be pretty binary. It's open or it's closed. So you get on the strait for a dolphin tour, whatever the fuck, and ships are either passing through or they're not. That's sort of what he's expecting to get there. Yeah, so this is the quote. The dolphin tour guy canceled on me as soon as I tried to get back in touch, which, to be fair to him, was the rational response to the current security environment, and which was also, to be fair to me, extremely inconvenient. So he's in Oman. He's already made it here. He's $15K cash, 2 phones, some Zins, nothing else, and has to figure out a way to get to the Strait of Hormuz. And so he basically finds these, I'm going to mess up the timing of this, but he finds these like IRGC, like Iranian, like pirate smugglers that go back and forth across the strait, smuggling like weapons or whatever, drugs back and forth. And so he kind of gets a signal like, all right, it is obviously up to Iran, like who they want to strike. Like there's not like these little speedboats are getting up and down. Like they're not like striking there's not mines. They're not striking every ship. We can maybe get through. And so I don't know exactly who he found, but he has $15K cash. He finds this like guy who lives in Oman who's like, I have a speedboat and I can take you to the Strait of Hormuz. Like 3,000 cash or something. Bet, done. So he goes back to his room. He goes to bed. And in the morning, this guy, Citrini analyst number 3, is going to go through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, at like 6 o'clock in the morning, bang, bang, bang. They're banging on his door. He opens the door, and it is like the equivalent of the CIA in Oman. And they're like, get the fuck out, get in the back of the car. And so they throw him in the back of this like, armored SUV, black SUV, right? And the reason they threw him in the back of this SUV is because they saw fucking Citrini tweeting about analyst number 3 going to the Strait of Hormuz. They throw him in the back of this car, and they basically are like, we know about your boat trip. Go back to your hotel,
get your shit and get the fuck out of Oman. You're not going. And so he basically says, like, dude, it's over. Like, I'm done. It's over. There's no trip. They know about it. I'm fucked. And so he goes back to the hotel, and it's time to pack up and go home. And he, like, texts the boat guy, and he tells him what happens. And he's like, analyst number 3 is like, you know, what if we just go anyways? And the boat guy replies verbatim, and he says, fuck the police. What if we go anyways? What if we go anyways? Fuck the police. And so they're off. And so here's a direct quote, one of my favorites of all time. I'll read it to you without looking at it. Ready? Analyst number 3 decided, against the counsel of an Omani border agent, the implicit counsel of God, and the extremely explicit counsel of 2 Coast Guard officers holding assault rifles, that he was going to the center of the most consequential waterway on Earth during a live war in a speedboat with no GPS, captained by a man he met 3 hours ago at a port inlet by pulling out a wad of cash. And so they're off. He said, fuck the police. We're off. Okay? Sorry, Malcolm, for banging the table. And so they basically he gets to the boat. He's expecting this like big speedboat, right? And I wish I could read the thing. Like, I'm missing so many good story points of this. He gets to the like speedboat, and it's just like this rinkety dinky fucking piece of shit boat with no GPS. And the guy's just like, trust me, I understand these waters. And so they go out. They go out in the strait. He's swimming in the strait at one point. They get in the boat. They drive out to the strait. He records the infamous video. This video right here. Let's find it real quick. Oh no, where's the video? Fuck my life. I should have prepped it. The tanker on fire, yeah. Let's see. Citrini tanker video. Yeah, here. They record the video. Look at, I mean, he's like in a rinkety-dink speedboat. So they record this video, and he tells his story that he's in this tiny boat, no GPS, and above him is like an active war zone. There's Shahed drones firing over top. There's missiles. There's bombs going off. Tankers are exploding, and he's in this rinkety-dink fucking speedboat floating in the Strait of Hormuz. Wait, show it again. Fine. Look at this. He's in this rinkety-dink speedboat in the middle of the Strait of Hormuz, while there's just like Shahed drones overhead, and there's bombs going off, and there's explosions. There's 2.2 million views. It's probably been pirated 1 million times. And so he says at one point that he picks his phone up to take a picture of the drones, and the fuck the police guy screams at him, put your fucking phone down. Don't do it. Because even that is like, no. It's like death, bro. I think it's like death. And so they're out there for a while. He tells this story that at one point they're out there, and the IRGC pirates in a speedboat come blitzing over to them. And he's like, I'm dead. Like, I'm dead. And they come over and like exchange cigars and cigarettes, wave at him, salute, and fucking fly and drive off. Right. So he's like, bro, he's in the like the most probably one of the most dangerous places in the entire world. And so he's there for a while.
They're in the water for 30 minutes, 40. Oh, here we go. Thank you, bro. Turns out it wasn't the IRGC, just another smuggler. He slowed alongside our boat, close enough that I could see his face. He was smoking a cigarette. I was smoking a cigar. He held out his cigarette and I handed him my cigar. And we looked at each other across the gap between two boats in the middle of the most contested waterway on Earth. And we nodded and we smiled and neither of us said a word. It wasn't the IRGC. It was one of these like pirate smuggler figures. And he gets his footage, a little bit of his footage. And mind you, he has two phones. And so they get back to the coast. Let me see exactly. Yeah, they get back to the coast and they catch him at like the border and they're like, he's here. And they confiscate everything. Like they're like, he's here, like the fucking border patrol. And they jump on it. He's like on his phone in the background, transferring all the videos to like his burner phone to hide it. So like, bro, you're done. Like what's this? I should have prepped some of the quotes. There's this quote where he basically is saying like it was, I'm gonna pull it for you. He's basically saying like it was the moment that I realized that it could just be over. It was the first time I realized it could be over. Wait, I think I bookmarked it. Let me find it real quick. Damn, I actually fucked this. Where's that one? Fuck. Here it is. So he gets back. And they like are confiscating everything. He's sending all the footage to his burner phone to hide it as quick as possible. He's talking to Citrini on Signal. He goes, I didn't care. I would have gone to jail. I was so high on the fact that I'd actually been on the strait, that I'd done the thing, seen it with my own eyes, gathered information that nobody else had, that I felt nothing resembling fear. Afterwards, I went back to the empty hotel bar and drank 11 beers. And so they like go through everything. They knew he was there. He's here. They go through his phone. They can't find anything. And he's basically let off. They let him go. And he leaves with the phone that has some pictures, the video. And he gets on the phone with Citrini for 8 hours. And just brain dumps everything that he just experienced. And Citrini, like, rapid fire, writes it all down, tries to, like, digest the story and get out of it as much as they can get out of it. So, yeah, I didn't care. I would have gone to jail. I was so high in the fact that I'd actually been on the strait, that I'd done the thing, seen it with my own eyes, gathered information that nobody else had, that I felt nothing resembling fear. I went back to the empty hotel bar and drank 11 beers. Yeah, they sent him off, a Pelican case full of equipment, a pack of Cuban cigars, $15,000 in cash, and a roll of Zyn. Here's an excerpt from it. It's pretty good. Ready? On the other side, number 3 talked his way onto a rickety speedboat with no GPS, defied advice from Omani officials to turn back, and rode on the open seas 18 miles from the Iranian coast while Shahed drones flew overhead and the Revolutionary Guard patrol boats ran patterns in the distance. He swam in the Strait of Hormuz, smoking one of the Cubans he still had on him. And then he was intercepted by the Coast Guard, detained, and had his phone confiscated before eventually making it back home to share everything he learned with us in an 8-hour debrief session. This is what analyst number 3 found on his field trip to the Strait of Hormuz. From his point of view, with some key names, places, and details of key events changed to protect the safety of anonymous sources. The quotes are based on his memory of the events, translated from the original Arabic, which is the best we could do from an accuracy standpoint. Considering number 3's, yeah. So his phone and everything was confiscated. And he made it back. And so the two biggest takeaways from the story of what was uncovered in the Strait of Hormuz.
So let me get this straight. Citrini sends someone to Oman with 15K. He promptly gets arrested and questioned, and now Wall Street's conclusions that Hormuz closure isn't a big deal. That's a Calvin tweet. Okay. Also, again, I'm fucking sick and my head hurts and I'm like a mess. So I apologize for like a really chopped together story. Do you get the picture of what happened and why this is important? Did I articulate well enough what happened? I'm fucking a little bit of a mess today. So this is what we learned. Number one is he has this quote, and he's basically saying, like, while I'm on a speedboat in the Strait of Hormuz, and the only thing I can think about is how retarded our Peter's on in 15 minutes probably. All I could think about is how retarded our monitoring of the situation was. So basically what he was saying is that everybody had some thesis, because he's going around talking to like locals, people in Oman, all over. Everyone had some elaborate thesis as to why boats were not able to get through, right? And it's like, oh, the insurance, they don't want to insure, or like this, that, the third. And in reality, the reason that boats were not and are not going through the Strait of Hormuz is genuinely no more complicated than the fact that these are real people and real humans that have to go through and they don't want to die. Like, it actually just is that simple. And we're here speculating on what's happening and why it's happening, and 4D chess on how it could happen and why it could happen, when in reality, it's pretty binary direct that people just don't want to die. Also, it's like, Malcolm, yeah, do it. Pull the plug, Malcolm, do it. Also, the second part of this is that everyone is screaming like, oh, insurance. If only people would insure these tankers. And the thing about insuring these tankers is that if you insure a tanker and it goes through and it gets blown up and you own the tanker, it's like, yes, you'll get your money back, but there's no fucking tankers, bro. There's no tankers. Like, you don't have a tanker. It's gone. Like, yeah, you could like pay for it, but like somebody has to build it. You have to source it. You have to get the supply somewhere. There's no tankers. It doesn't exist. There's no tankers. There's nowhere to get the tanker from. And so it was this pretty funny, like, sobering realization that he had that I'm getting secondhand through this, which is that we overcomplicated it. It's like humans are fucking humans and humans don't want to die. And oftentimes it can really just be that, like, it's partly that simple as to why ships are not going through the Strait of Hormuz. The second thing that I learned in reading this article, that is probably the most important thing that I read in this article, which is why I think the oil trade is dead, is what I'm going to share when I come back in 30 seconds. BRB.
By the way, sorry, I had to deal with comms real quick. We have to cancel Peter for tomorrow. He's running like super late. He's not going to be ready until like 6:30. I think we should do it tomorrow on time. So if you're here for Schiff, my bad. It's okay. But I actually have a lot to cover anyways, so it's okay. Sorry. He's running really late. We could do it at like 6:30, but I have a physical therapy appointment and I'm fucking like sick. So, damn, people just drop because of that. What the fuck? I have a lot to talk about. What the fuck? Brother, I have, by the way, back the fuck up, okay? I have way more important shit to talk about than fucking gold right now. Okay? Everyone chill the fuck out, all right? Chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out. Flood came out for this too. Everybody fucking relax, man. He's gonna be here tomorrow. Where did you come from? Everybody fucking relax. I have way more important stuff to say than what he was gonna come here and say right now. Okay, that's number one. And number two is he's gonna be he's so late. So let's just do it on time tomorrow. And we will hit it. Yeah, we'll hit it on time tomorrow. He's just gonna tell us Bitcoin is retarded and gay, and that gold is awesome. So, anyways, let's keep going. So the other thing that I learned in reading this article that I just think like we didn't really account for when we're like analyzing the oil trade and talking about the Strait of Hormuz is so he's doing all of these firsthand discussions with like the people of Oman, and he's learning sort of what, you know, even like Iranians that live in Oman, he's learning like what the people want, what the narrative is on the ground, because remember, there's no real reporting coming out of these GCC countries or in the Middle East at all. There's no reporting. Iran doesn't have internet, and if you post anything in Oman, you're like going to jail, right? I mean, they came after him. They knew he was here for some sus shit. They didn't really know why or what or why he was doing this. They couldn't really stop him because they couldn't prove anything. But so one of the things he learned is that there was a significant increase in ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And there also was an increase in strikes, in escalations. And that was like analyst number 3. He's like confused because he's like, no, those two ideas contradict themselves. And it's basically the case of like these things sort of operate in their own silos, and it's not binary. It's not like one isn't necessarily absolute dependent on the other or anything in between. And that, I don't know, there's just like real life going on in between both. And so one of the things he learned, yes, is that one, there can be more ships through and more strikes at the same time. And so this is kind of what we're seeing is like more oil is going through the Strait of Hormuz right now, while at the same time, more strikes are happening between the US and Iran. And so in the closing section, the first half of the article is about the story. It's honestly, it's better. It's just like so entertaining. And then the back half is sort of like our learnings. And on that topic, Citrini has this take where he's talking about like, we're sort of moving away from this multipolar world where it's no longer the case that the US is negotiating peace or war while everybody else stands by and waits, right? It's like, no, we've seen Japan, we've seen Europe, we've seen these countries actively negotiating with Iran, striking deals so they can get their oil, right? Working independently for themselves. And what we could see is like, you could see a scenario in which every country in the world, except the US, has a deal with Iran, is getting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Traffic is basically back to normal. And then the US is striking Iran more than we've ever been striking them. Like both of those things could be true. It's like the US is sort of acting on its own behalf and everybody else is also acting on its own behalf. And this is not typically how like geopolitics
would work 30 years ago. It was like sort of unfathomable that it would work this way before. But we're seeing it in real time because everyone sort of like has their own resources and their own incentives to protect for themselves. And that's like kind of how this is playing out. And so let's see, I'm trying to think what else I've written down. Another thing he talks about is how shocking it was, the organization on the toll system. Like, this is fully in play right now. Like, there's fully a toll system. Okay. He said it was completely overblown, that the only people getting through are paying in Chinese yuan. Most tankers that are getting through are paying by lifting sanctions on Iran, is what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the bulk of payment to Iran, is like, we will stop doing X, Y, and Z if you let us get X amount of tankers through. And so analyst number 3 says it was like pretty impressive. Like, he was shocked at how organized the toll system was, and it is like fully in play right now. So he talks about that. He also, yes, the Strait is not mined because people are getting through. And so one of the things he said is like, he was in, so watch this. He tells a story. I'm going from my brain now. He tells a story where he's like, I'm on a speedboat, and most ships in the Strait are like hugging, they're like small little ships, and they're hugging the coast, like being low key, being alias. And then all of a sudden, this massive Greek tanker just is like gunning down the dead middle of the Strait of Hormuz, like in a full just like sprint down the middle, just fucking like no regard for anything. And so one, they obviously had a deal, which means Iran is obviously allowing certain people through and certain people not through, right? Which then assumes that one, they're in control of who gets blown up. And two, dude, my voice, I'm actually struggling. Two is it's obviously not mined, right? Like, you're not going for that if it's mined and you think you're going to get blown up. And so Iran is like in control of who's getting blown up and who's not. And so one of the things he talks about is that they have pretty intricate due diligence process for figuring out if the ships making it through are aligned with the ships that like struck a deal with. Like, there isn't, be an American ship and throw up a fucking Greek flag and you're through. It's like, no. They're doing extremely intricate DD. Where did the payment come from? Who are they associated with? Who owns the shell company? Like, it was articulated as if they have like very sharp and precise due diligence as to what is getting through and what isn't. So that was pretty fascinating. What else did I write down? Insurance. Oh, also, he explicitly said a bunch of times that everyone on the Iranian side like does not want the Strait closed. They do not want the Strait closed, and this is like equally causing Iran a ton of harm. Also, Malcolm, I didn't take the medicine we got because it has an anti-inflammatory in it, and I can't. My shoulder. I have to let my shoulder stay inflamed. But they're losing tons of money with the Strait closed, even with the toll on top, which is like very unfortunate for them. Let me see anything else. Most payment is no sanctions, which is crazy. Yeah, what if we went anyways? Fuck the police. Let me read this. DNAP sent a. Yeah, there was some payment in crypto as well. Let me see what you sent, Daniel. Oh my God, this. Here we go. Ready? This is so fucking good. All right, ready? Did you see Pasternak? Brother. Citrini analyst number 3 just swam in the Strait of Hormuz, relayed 8 hours of coverage on an active war zone of the most important 21-mile choke point in the world right now that is directly going to impact not just your financial future, but the global economy forever. It's going to alter geopolitics for the rest of time and potentially change the U.S. empire's standing as a global world power. And you are in the chat asking me about Ben Pasternak and his ex-girlfriend. And yes, I did see it, by the way. I did see it. That shit was crazy. Oh, that shit was crazy. I did see it. Yeah, I saw it. Phase the fuck up, baby. All right, here you go. We left the bar, walked out the port, and smoked cigarettes as he laid out the mechanics of the Iranian toll booth. His ship was in queue to receive Iranian approval to transit. They were in the process of submitting information. He described a queue of vessels lined up in this back and forth with Iranian intermediaries, waiting their turn. You don't go through if you don't get approved. This is the difference between a blockade and a toll road. And the market has been pricing the former, while the reality on the water is setting up to look a lot more like the latter. He disabused me. He disabused me of more than a few ideas that, in hindsight, can only be described as situation monitor slop. He told me nobody really thought the strait was mined. His reaction to the idea of insurance being the only reason vessels weren't crossing was one of near incredulity. Quote, the bottleneck is not wanting to die. Insurance? Do you think we want to die? Look, some guys will run it. They've got balls. But think about it from the owner's side. You send your ship through, it gets hit, now what? You're out of vessel in the hottest rate environment any of us have ever seen. Insurance pays you out. Great. But you can't buy a replacement tomorrow. The fleet's spoken for. Meanwhile, the guy who kept his ship parked as floating storage in the Gulf is printing money doing nothing. So yeah, it's not just about dying, it's about being stupid. I mean, yeah, I kind of feel retarded that I ever even brought up the word insurance, right? It's like, what does that even... I don't know. It's like, what does that even mean? Schiff is going to be tomorrow, my friend. It's like, yeah, what does that even mean? Insurance. It's like, yeah, makes perfect sense. Also, I didn't mean to pin that, Jack. You can unpin that if you want. It was an accident. I didn't mean to pin that. So now, okay, it brings me to the oil trade. And I think when we were trading oil early in this conflict, we had like some level of edge understanding that I've repeated this a bunch of times now. Also, DNAP, let me know if there's any more excerpts to read. We had at least what I consider to be some level of edge in understanding the spread between how bad and out of control the situation in Iran had gotten versus how the market was pricing it in as if nothing was happening. But when you read this article, I've actually never felt like I know less about the oil trade than I do now. And it makes it kind of uninteresting as a trade because he basically articulates this climax where the worst case scenario probably is that the US and Iran drag out this war for a long time. It becomes extremely expensive. It becomes extremely unpopular and just causes pain to markets while every other country strikes a deal with Iran and is basically bringing the flow of oil through the strait back to normal. And oil flow is the same, prices are down, but war is deeply escalated.
And so he explained this like future where it's no longer, we're just going to like wait for the US to tell us what to do, but we are going to make our deal on our own terms and resume the flow. And so I don't know. Yeah. I basically have found myself in the framework of the oil trade is just like that. And it's kind of a cursed asset to be long it. Because one, the entire world is actively trying to suppress the price, bring it down. Every country individually, maybe except for Iran, wants oil to be cheaper. And then two, it's not really a great vehicle to express the war is going to get worse. I think that was the vehicle that's the vehicle I was trading before, is the war is worse than the markets are saying, but it's no longer a clean way to express that because it's been pretty blatantly clear that the war can get worse, but more oil can still flow, and then the price gets cucked. And so I think until further notice, I'm done trading oil. So he posts this near the end of the article. A decision tree. And so basically like 3 ways this could end. Iran runs a toll in the Strait of Hormuz. And so US seeks off-ramp. Conflict becomes expensive and domestically unpopular. Administration looks for exits before midterm. Win. Iran retains recognized influence over the strait. Ships flow under Iranian management. US commits to protracted ground war. Another Afghanistan, which we really hope doesn't happen. Decade of expensive adversary still standing. Economic cost of preventing the toll extends closure past the point of no return. Win. Iran outlasts. Strait reopens under Iranian sovereignty by default. And then final, U.S. pursues total annihilation. Full-scale regime destruction. Iran loses all capacity to enforce sovereignty. This is the Stone Age. Strait reverts to open passage under American security. And so, yeah, this is the best excerpt from the whole thing. He lays out what they longed, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't really think about it this way, but he was like, what can we long that will go up whether we escalate or de-escalate, like both directions? And it was this basket of like tankers, like oil tanker stocks, I believe, which was, he laid out a bunch of trades, but that was one of them. It's this basket of like oil tankers, which I think is a very clean trade actually, because the demand for those is probably up only. Everything's more expensive. It's more expensive to get through. Cruise more, everything is more expensive. Price in those go up. Value is probably through the roof. It's the hottest, most in demand thing in the world right now, right? Oil tank. You're in the oil tanker business. Like, damn, let me fuck, you know? And so that I like. We can maybe do a post-mortem at some point on the whole just like saga of us trading oil and going through this process. But that is a pretty clean expression. I like that. I was just straight to fucking American crude oil. But he's long the tankers. He's long all of this. It was pretty clean. I liked it. I liked the way they talked about it. I like the way he articulated it. There is hair looking good. Thank you. There was a bunch of trades. I won't go through all of them. I will play you this video, and then I will look at Be Wet. What is that? Yeah, it was this tanker shipping ETF. Wow. Jesus fuck. Wow. It appears we longed the wrong thing. Sonic shares global shipping boat, ticker boat. That's awesome. Yeah, this is
pretty good too. War started. This isn't even really up. This is not up. We're not idiots. Bro, the war started right here. This is where you would have. You're down on this. This is not obvious. You're down on this. We are absolutely not idiots. This is down. So it looks pretty good right now, though. What is this measure? What's in this ETF? That's a broader range of global shipping companies. Let me ask Claude, like a cleaner. How's it down? What is the best proxy to long oil tankers? Boat is a 6 name. Pete Seth buying this one. Oh my god. Fro frontline. Crew tanker fleet. Let's see. Pete Seth long boat, bro. Wait, what's it called? Fro. Frontline, yeah. Damn, this one's down too. They're all fucking down. This is down. DHT. How are they all down? Every one of them's down. How are they all down? STNG, product tankers. Oh my god, every one of them is down. TK. All right, shift confirmed for tomorrow at 5 p.m., by the way. I'm going to be on his ass. Pause. How are they all down? Sorry about the switch up. Yeah, my bad. I mean, it's not my fault, but I'll still say my bad. Why didn't you say be wet? Yeah, he canceled. I'm sorry. Well, he was just going to be super late. It didn't make sense to like push. Huh. Got it. Title change? No, I'll just slap everybody, make them feel bad. Okay. Here we go. Citrini analyst number 3, forward deployed in the fucking Strait of Hormuz. Citrini analyst number 4 right now. I've never seen it. So, all right. That's the main takeaways from the Citrini article. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I think it's one of the most incredible reporting performances I've ever seen. Malcolm, if you got me a tea with honey, I would genuinely just like, yeah, I would love a tea with honey. It's one of the most just incredible reporting feats I've ever seen in my entire life. Please. And one of the reasons I think this is so fascinating, as a slow couple post on this, I want to talk about this. Is like, okay, watch. Is the hedge fund of the future is analysts on traveling 100% of the time and feeding context to the LLM. And so this is obviously where the alpha is headed in the future. Being an analyst will be a life of going from hotel to hotel and talking with people. Very different. And there's one other post about this, which is that Citrini analyst number 3 is a perfect example of how humans can gather informational edge in the world of LLMs. Absolute legend. And so I had this thought. Here's one more. Honestly, Citrini setting a guide to the Gulf and getting all of this on the same week the New York Times appear to not know what NATO stands for is probably the strongest signal yet that America needs an entirely new class of gonzo adventure analysts to retrieve strategically important data. And so I had this takeaway from this, which is like, okay, we basically reached a point, like for the last, I don't know, 20 years, whatever, in finance, that all of the edge was in like math and reading comprehension. And it's how much
like, how many earnings reports can you digest? How well can you do math on financials? How well can you crunch the numbers? How well can you understand the data that's public and in front of you for everybody to see? But what's kind of happened is, I think, LLMs and ChatGPT has commoditized that very efficiently. And so all of this information is public. The bottleneck was having like a research team and bandwidth to go through it all and make sense of it all and digest it all. But now that's like snap of the finger, right? You could spit 100 earnings reports into GPT and it could respond in 30 seconds with detailed pattern matching, really intricate understanding of what it just read and why it's important and what, you know, what the takeaways are from this. And so this comes back to what I talked about at the beginning of the stream with IRL events. But I think there's going to be like deep edge again and going boots on the, like Citrini just showed us. The other example of this is Nick Shirley going boots on the ground and talking to the real people that are actually involved and have proprietary information on what's happening. And so we were talking about it in the meeting this morning, and I said the word insider info. Like the edge is on finding insider info, except not actual insider info, but rather than insider info, just real info, like the truth. Like Citrini, analyst number 3, found insider info because he just found like the true info. And the true info made the trade and understanding the situation like very obvious, right? This was our biggest bottleneck on understanding the war very early, which is like, it's not about, like, us understanding the war very early was not about how many headlines can we like spit into GPT and like make sense of. It was like, how good can we be at figuring out what is actually happening? Because every post is fake. Every article is fake. Every headline is fake. Everything is propaganda this, propaganda that. Everything is cooked. And so the only edge comes from how well can you find out what's actually happening? Rather than here's what's actually happening, make sense of it. It's like back to first principles. And so I think that this like as an analyst, right? Like if I was looking to hire another analyst for like Counterparty, I'm like way more hype about travel ability and people skills than I am math. It's like, yeah, after this, I want to send you the fucking Strait of Hormuz. It's I'm way more excited about people skills and your ability to like get on the phone. It's like back, remember when Doma came on stream for the first time and figured out how was it Sarah Palin was gonna run for like president or right whatever by the he like called the airport and like figured out the private flight he had like a connection with the airport guy, blah, blah, blah. Like that type of the Alaska chick, that type of analysis is the new in my opinion. This is why I said earlier, it's like I'm hugely bullish on IRL events with good people. It used to be the case that the opportunity cost to go out while the market was on was so high. But now it feels like the opportunity cost of fading going out is so much higher because you get the direct source information of what's actually happening. And so the other obviously example of this is Nick Shirley, right? Like look what Nick Shirley was able to do in Minnesota on a couple weeks, boots on the ground, a camera, one guy who was like decent at math, like his resident boomer, and look what he was able to pull off. And so I had this take that the same way all you need to do as a trader is make one trade and you're basically set for life on money but clout. Like Michael Burry will make 7 figures a year, probably 8 figures a year on his Substack for the rest of time for one trade. If he never makes a profitable trade again for the rest of his life, he will make 8 figures a year on a Substack forever. Period. No way. Really? Really? Wait, let me come get it. Wait, do you want to say hi, stream? No? Thank you. Oh. Wow. Wow.
Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Michael Burry, the W man, W Malcolm. Michael Burry will make 8 figures a year for the rest of his life off one trade, brother. Off one trade on the Substack. And like Flood is another one. If Flood dropped a paid sub, 8 figures off the Hyperliquid trade, like for the rest of his life. You're subbing. Any trade he takes forever after that, you're tailing, you're subbing like 100,000%. Well, that same opportunity now exists in the research game. Okay? Nick Shirley is a globally famous political figure for the rest of his life because of one news report he did in Minnesota in 2026. Forever. Like, he'll be a guest on Fox News forever. 30 years from now, Nick Shirley will still be a famous character that exists. 100,000%. Citrini, much bigger scale, in my opinion, because the demographic is finance. Forever. That Citrini sub is going to just print money. You're going to forever subscribe to him. One, because he helped you make a lot of money in the markets, but two, off the news story alone. Off the news story alone, the sub inflow, I wish I could see the numbers. The sub inflow that he just got, a lot of them will be there forever because of that reporting. Like, just forever. And so it definitely is a new era on the analyst side. I believe that it's so hot. That the edge is your ability to do shit IRL now. Which is fucking hype because I'm an IRL ass guy. Malcolm, should I pitch this event right now or no? Should I pitch it to the stream right now? Chat. Speaking of viral events, what if we did an IRL event for Counterparty in New York, but instead of a party, we rented out a sick theater and did like a private screening of The Big Short or something like this. But you can talk and socialize because it's private. We have the whole theater. W event or L? W or L event? Or do you hate me? I would fly in for that. Stop. You would not fly in for that. Probably like a dinner first, open bar, and then the movie. But it would be really loud, but also like tables, chairs. Would you fly in? People would fly in for this? I would think we have to gate it to like 100 people, but I would probably let like 50, I don't know how many invites to the chat. A lot of people from the chat. We'd probably like cover some people's flights, and then I would like force like Flood and shit to come. I'd fly from Paris. Would people really fly in for this? First Counterparty event. It's like some low-key shit. If Taiki and Base 16Z there, brother, I'm there. Runks allowed, of course. Yeah, I would pay for Villa's flight. Yeah. I almost like don't know if I want to meet my hero. I'd fly if you paid for it or I had a good trade. Interesting. We should do it, Malcolm. Let's do it. I'm so down.
Focus on.
I'm like extremely down to do this, actually. It's like a sick idea. How much do you think it would cost? Open bar, dinner. We could like bring some fucking slop, some wings and shit. Bet. Let's do it like for 2 weeks. Let's plan it. I'm so down. Let's do it. Yeah, we should do it. Counterparty event. Yes, we can involve our partners.
We can make it private. We'll bring a bunch of people from the chat. Some people from the chat. I don't know how to do it. And we can start. I want to do this shit IRL, bro. Like low-key exclusive IRL shit. You know? This is what I'm into this, being the edge. I have a Bill Ackman video I don't really care about, but I do want to watch it. I do want to watch it. As far as market reactions, is the only tweet that I have. Bill Ackman said one of the biggest edges in investing is willing to underwrite business 3 to 5 years out. So hard to do it right now. IRL reenactment of the Citrini article. Wait, that makes me this clip. Wait. What if we did this?
Like when we have any downtime right now.
So I try to watch. So during the playoffs, I was watching the Bin Laden documentary.
I watched that too. That was pretty
Man,
crazy.
I mean, they should. So you know how they have like, you know how they have what's that thing called? Where you like escape rooms?
Yeah.
They should have. We should start a business where you have like situation rooms, and like you can sign up and go in and like reenact different things. You know, like, hey, what are you doing tonight? We're gonna grab dinner and then we're gonna go reenact the Bin Laden raid.
That'd be a sick first date idea.
You know what I mean? Like I think the escape room's just the beginning.
Can you imagine we did this with Citrini analyst number 3? By the way, funny story. He's the head coach of Boston Celtics. He's my only college offer. Fairmont State University. Joe Mazzulla gave it to me in person, just for the record. Yeah. Look, I think he won a national championship. Fairmont State, Joe Mazzulla. This is what he looked like. Yeah, look, Fairmont State welcomes Joe Mazzulla. And then he left for the Boston Celtics. Yeah, I turned it down. I told him more of a Mike Malone kind of guy. All right.
Capital is, and also a long-term horizon, and the way that we think and compensate the organization is we focus on intrinsic business value. And if once there is a wide gap between the price we can buy a company for and where it trades, that creates an opportunity for us. And we don't have to own something with the expectation that that discount resolves itself by 12/31 or by the end of the quarter. And that allows us to take, this concept of time arbitrage is a real thing. We have investors in the marketplace increasingly requiring an outcome being resolved in a very short period of time, and fewer investors who can take a 3, 4, 5 year kind of horizon. I think that's really an opportunity for us. But it explains why today we own capital is, and also a long-term horizon. And
I just find it's like so hard to do it right now. Look 3, 4 years out on literally anything other than maybe hyperliquid, honestly, ironically enough. Other than hyperliquid and Bitcoin, it is hard to do anything that far out right now in the market, especially until this war situation resolves. I guess you could just think the best and hope it happens, but I don't really know how you do it, honestly, on just about anything. I don't know. It's a tough one. Wait. Also, Ackman's down like $4 billion this year, but it is what it is. I guess we should read the drift article for crypto. I don't really want to read it. I actually have a couple crypto optimist posts. I'm gonna start with this Mert one. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty short. The next crypto cycle is coming. I don't know. I told you I'm excited about crypto for the first time in a long time, and I mean not the first time, but it feels like it's starting to get exciting again, really. And so Mert tweets, I have 100% conviction that crypto will be back. There are now 2 parent categories in crypto: efficient finance and alternative finance. Efficient finance is about improving existing systems to be faster, cheaper, and more composable. Tokenization, stables, neobanks, market access. Alternate finance is about creating net new systems. This is what's fucking exciting to me. New internet currencies, stores of value, digital collectibles, purification, internet capital formation, futurarchy, DAOs, deepen, etc. The reason sentiment feels off is that this is the first time where efficient finance is by far the majority of mindshare. This is a really good take. ETFs, stats, tokenization, stables, regulation. We can't make money in any of this. And so crypto doesn't feel like some novel counterculture thing anymore where the novel mystery doesn't cause a volatile set of speculations and intrigue. For example, it can be argued that each past cycle was due to some mania on a specific alternate finance vertical. SOV with Bitcoin, ICOs, internet capital formation, NFTs, digital collectibles, and then memes. Alternate finance took a hit because one, much of the focus recently has been on efficient finance, but also two, AI rightfully absorbed a lot of the creativity and attention on experimenters. To claim that crypto wouldn't come back would be to claim that crypto creatively has fundamentally dissipated into the highest entropy state possible, i.e., there's no more rearrangement of crypto primitives that can produce further energy. But given that programmable smart contract platforms have only been scalable for about 2 to 3 years now, and given that AI has now vastly reduced the cost of experimentation, this would be an infinitely stronger claim to make than to claim that this is just a basic correction. Like all of the times in crypto's history that will be back building the machinery of capitalism stronger than ever. One obvious catalyst is going to be the resurgence of privacy as the institutional overreach and AI surveillance become more apparent. But there'll be many others, as crypto remains the best possible platform for builders expressing their creativity without shackles. Trillions. It's a good one. This is sort of what I was saying at the beginning, which is like anything you could have ever imagined or dreamed or hoped for as it relates to crypto is happening and has largely happened. But the speculative side is getting crushed. And that is why the separation between the two parties here is like so severe. It's never really happened before in crypto. Mando tweeted this as well, which I like. Is that one thing is for sure to me. I hate Hawaiian shirts in a business context, bro. It's for fucking Peter Schiff. I hate when you don't wear a shirt on stream and I raid you. And then everyone joins and the first thing you do is take your shirt off. I hate that. Like, I don't like that. Yeah, at all. I hate when you do that, actually. It makes me leave instantly. I leave instantly. Every time I leave instantly. I don't even think twice. Up, off. I don't even let you get past the waist anymore. Up, belly button, up, off. Every time. I don't even let you get past the belly button anymore. It's like, I hate that. You should stop doing that. Thanks, funny buddy. One thing is for sure to me, the same group of people who found altcoins and DeFi and NFTs that meme coins, they aren't going to be sedated trading stocks and commodities now. Well, speak for yourself. But people in this space need the hope of 1,000x gains, and the market will eventually create something to please that. I think it probably comes by the end of the year. I hope he's right. I really do hope he's right. It's been a while since we've had a new game, my friends. Society. It's been a while since we've had a new game. We've had a lot of mini ones. We've definitely had a lot of mini ones, but it's been a while since we've had a good new game. It really is. I would argue Pump Fun is the last new game. January 2024. It's like, dude, it's over 2 years ago. We are due. We are due. Also, Anthropic, man, with one of the most disappointing announcements I've seen in a long time. That starting tomorrow at 12 p.m. PT, Claude subscriptions will no longer cover its usage on third-party tools like OpenClaw. You can still use these tools with your Claude login via extra usage bundles, now available at discount or with Claude API key. We've been working hard to meet the increase in demands for Claude, and our subscriptions weren't built for the usage patterns of these third-party tools. Capacity is a resource we manage thoughtfully, and we are prioritizing our customers using our product and API. So subscribers get a one-time credit equal to your monthly plan cost. If you need more, you can now buy discounted usage bundles. To request a full refund, look for a link in your email tomorrow. We want to be intentional in managing our growth to continue to serve our customers sustainably long-term. This change is a step towards that. I mean, look, it's just so expensive. It's not worth it with the API key. I'm done. I took it off. I'm not using it anymore. And yeah, they don't make any money. They really need to justify these ridiculous raise valuations. And I am of the camp that they just made a mistake in the whole OpenClaw thing. It's like OpenAI acquired it first. And now, fine, I guess the best move is to shut it down. But it's pretty disappointing, man. I wonder how many people were using Anthropic daily strictly to use OpenClaw. I just have to go back to OpenAI, I think, because I want to use my OpenClaw. I want to use it the way that I use it. It was really fucking good. I used it every day. And yeah, it only really worked with Opus. Like, it's not good with OpenAI. It's fucking, honestly, I'm kind of frustrated. The OAuth thing is like ridiculously expensive. And it's fucking annoying. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, the only thing I can think here is that they have just fumbled. Yeah, my quarter's all fucking ripped through this. Also, there is this announcement here on IPOs before 2027. Not a lot of volume, but Anthropic's at 54%, which is interesting. It was high before. It was at 70s. Got down as low as 25, and now we're kind of fucking climbing. 54%. It does feel like we come to a hedge this year where they all IPO. Everyone's coming. OpenAI reveals executive changes in company memo. OpenAI COO shifts out of role. OpenAI AGI CEO taking medical leave. OpenAI CMO stepping down. So the Sam Altman files also just dropped. We'll probably go over it tomorrow. But yeah, the AI thing is getting fucking nuts. It feels like we're coming to a hedge where they're trying to get out. Yeah, look here, Sam Altman files. And let's actually just read it right now. Fuck it, right? I just have the tweet. The New Yorker just dropped a massive investigation of Sam Altman based on over 100 interviews, the previously undisclosed Ilya memos, and Dario's 200 plus pages of private notes. It's the most detailed account yet of the pattern of behavior that led to Sam's firing and rapid reinstatement of OpenAI. Here's a breakdown. Ilya compiled 70 pages of Slack messages, HR documents, and photos taken on personal phones to avoid detection on company devices. He sent them to board members as disappearing messages. The first memo begins with a list headed, Sam exhibits a consistent pattern of ... The first item is lying. Dario kept detailed private notes for years under the heading My Experience with OpenAI, totaling 200 plus pages. His conclusion, the problem with OpenAI is Sam himself. Sam reportedly told Myra his allies were going all out and finding bad things to damage her reputation after the firing. Thrive put its planned $86 billion investment on hold and implied it would only close if Sam returned, giving employees financial incentive to back him. That's fucking crazy. Sam texted Satya directly to propose the Microsoft to propose the new board composition. Brett, Larry Summers, Adam as the board, and me as CEO, and then Brett handles the investigation. The two new members selected to oversee the independent inquiry into Sam and were chosen after close conversation with Sam himself. Before OpenAI, senior employees at Looped, which was Sam's old company, asked the board to fire Sam as CEO on 2 separate occasions over concerns about leadership and transparency. At Y Combinator, partners complained to Paul Graham about Sam's behavior, and Graham privately told colleagues Sam had been lying to us all the time. Then, OpenAI's super alignment team was promised 20% of the company's compute. 4 people who worked on or with the team said actual resources were 1 to 2%, mostly on the oldest cluster with the worst chips. The team was dissolved without completing its mission. Sam told the board that safety features in GPT-4 have been approved by a safety panel. Helen Toner requested documentation and found the most controversial features had not been approved. Sam also never mentioned to the board that Microsoft released an early ChatGPT version in India without completing a required safety review. Sam made a secret pact with Greg and Ilya where he agreed to resign if they both deemed it necessary, essentially appointing his own shadow board. The actual board was alarmed when they learned about it. Then, Sam struck a deal with Greg Brockman to become CEO while simultaneously telling researchers that Greg's authority would be diminished and telling Greg something different. A board member described Sam as having two traits almost never seen in the same person: a strong desire to please people in any given interaction, and an almost sociopathic lack of concern for the consequences of deceiving somebody. Multiple sources independently use the word sociopathic. OpenAI is reportedly preparing for an IPO at a potential $1 trillion valuation while securing government contracts spanning immigration enforcement, domestic surveillance, and autonomous weaponry in war zones. Wow. And so it kind of feels like the wheels are falling off with all of these AI companies. And we're stumbling. It sort of feels like the wheels are falling off and we're stumbling to the finish line to get these IPOs out. How much of that is true, how much of that is real, I don't really know. But they're calling it the Sam Altman files, and it doesn't really bode well. It feels like we're stumbling to the finish line here, fellas. And so, an under-discussed topic right now that will soon be a heavily discussed topic is that when the war ends and the market pumps for a couple weeks, everyone at the same time is going to pick their head up and we're going to say, now what? And what exactly the response is to now what, I think is going to determine like what happens over the next year. Because if you think back, now what before was very much SaaSpocalypse, and under the hood is rotting. That was the take. I mean, that was the take. It was a Citrini article. It was under the hood, we're rotting, and markets are in trouble. And then we sort of got not distracted, but refocused around war. And when that is over, because it will be over at some point, we're gonna see what's left. New earrings? No, I just flipped them. Like I usually wear them black. Have you seen the dollar milkshake theory? No, what is that? The dollar milkshake theory, coined by Brett Johnson of Santiago Capital, argues that in a global crisis, the U.S. dollar will strengthen, not weaken, because the Federal Reserve's monetary policies combined with global demand for safety, creating a massive straw that sucks up global liquidity, pulling capital into U.S. assets. The milkshake and straw. The milkshake is the massive pool of liquidity, money, created by global central banks. And the straw is the U.S. financial system, which pulls this liquidity towards American dollar-denominated assets. When global markets experience distress, capital flows into the safest assets, which are historically denominated in USD, driving its value up. As the dollar strengthens, it becomes harder for foreign countries and companies to pay back debt denominated in dollars, forcing them to buy more dollars, which further strengthens the U.S. currency. This theory suggests that while the U.S. economy may suffer, it will outperform other economies, leading to severe volatility and a widening gap between the U.S. and the rest of the world. That's a decent take, I think. I mean, I'll tell you what, when things get fucking scary, I want to hold dollars. That's what I would rather hold is dollars. There's definitely some 4D chess. Should we watch a second of this?
I've been trying to understand the dollar milkshake theory for a while now by watching every video about it on YouTube. At this point, I've watched like a million different videos, and every single video I watch explains the theory to me as if I have a PhD in being a giant nerd. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the dollar milkshake theory to you as if you were only 5 years old. Because in my opinion, it's really important that even little babies understand macroeconomic analysis. At the rate we're going, the next generation is going to have their first successful 9-figure exit by 2nd grade if they have any hope of retiring. So without further ado, the dollar milkshake theory. All right, guys, so the whole world is 5 years old. We're on the playground and we're using cookies to trade things with each other. If you want my Pokemon cards, that's gonna be 5 cookies. The only problem with this whole cookie trading situation is some of our moms are making homemade cookies and some of the other moms are packing us cranberry orange Belvita. So not all cookies are the same, and different kids on the playground have access to different cookies. Timmy is the richest kid on the whole playground because his mom is a professional baker and she makes homemade chocolate chip cookies and they're really good. So obviously everyone wants the homemade chocolate chip cookies from Timmy's mom and nobody wants Belvita. And even if you're like, bro, chocolate chip sucks, Timmy's mom doesn't know what she's doing, Belvita is goated. Timmy's mom has the biggest military on the planet, and if she catches you talking like a little, she's gonna beat you up and take your house. Anyway, if you want my Charizard Pokemon card, the entire playground has pinky promised to only trade their best stuff for Timmy's mom's cookies.
So at this very moment in time, right now, I am prepared to give you 150,000
chocolate chip cookies
for just one of your 7 PSA 10 first edition Charizards.
And if anyone breaks any of those pinky promises, there are a bunch of international pinky promise lawyers that are going to get pretty upset, and Timmy's mom's military is going to be pretty upset too. This has been pretty great for Timmy, who can come to the playground every single day and get basically whatever he wants. And it's gotten to the point where even if Timmy doesn't bring physical cookies to the playground, everyone knows his mom is just going to keep baking more. So a lot of the times, Timmy doesn't even have to trade away physical cookies. He just writes IOU 5 cookies on a piece of paper with some crayon, and he starts trading those pieces of paper away for Charizard cards and bikes and all kinds of. And when Timmy starts trading away all of these IOUs, all of these paper promises for future cookies, his mom has to work overtime on the weekends to increase the supply of cookies to start flooding the playground with more and more cookies. And you might think that if Timmy's mom keeps baking all these cookies, that people might get sick of them. But what actually happens when Timmy's mom has to bake more cookies is that every other kid on the playground, their parents go out and buy more Belvita and buy more Oreos and other not as good cookies so that their kids can continue to trade on the playground now that there are so many of Timmy's mom's better cookies just floating around. And since everyone is bringing more cookies to the playground, Timmy's mom's cookies are still just as valuable,
is so good,
even though she's baked way more than she used to. The other thing that keeps Timmy's mom's cookies valuable is all of those pinky promises that are basically underlying the economy of the playground. These pinky promises have been around for decades, and you can't challenge the status quo by trading your best stuff for cookies that are not Timmy's mom's cookies. Basically, playground trading cannot happen without these cookies. Some people, though, are sick of Timmy's tyrannical rule of the playground and are trying to get the rest of the playground to switch to trading things for Belvitas and Oreos. But it's a super slow process. Renegotiating these pinky promises takes time, especially when at the beginning of the pinky promise, everyone said no take-backsies. So basically, when a bunch of other kids start bringing their cookies to the playground, the economy is set up in a way that those cookies end up getting just siphoned off to Timmy. Because to get the best stuff that everyone wants to trade for on the playground, those kids with worse cookies are forced to trade into Timmy's mom's cookies just to get the best stuff. And unfortunately, some of those kids, even when they can't afford a crayon IOU for some of Timmy's mom's cookies, they get desperate and they start pinky promising their friends some of Timmy's mom's cookies, even though they have no control over the creation of Timmy's mom's cookies. So this guy whose mom, she sucks at making cookies, he's like, yeah, I'll get you some of Timmy's mom's cookies, but he has no way of getting those. He has to bring his own Belvita garbage tier cookies to the playground, trade into Timmy's mom's cookies, and then make his trade for a bike or a Charizard card. Basically, the whole playground has ended up owing each other Timmy's mom's cookies, even though their parents can't bake those cookies. So even if Timmy's mom bakes like 1,000 cookies in a weekend, the playground has like 5,000 cookies worth of outstanding pinky promises. And so the value of Timmy's mom's cookies just keeps getting bid higher and higher and higher. Ultimately, there are only 3 ways forward for the playground. The first is that all the outstanding Timmy's mom's cookie debt gets paid off. This is highly unlikely because there are more outstanding pinky promises for Timmy's mom's cookies than there are actual cookies. And it would mean that Timmy has to bring trillions of real cookies to the playground to pay off all of these IOUs.
Cookie clicker mentioned!
And bruh, just between you and me, Timmy's mom can't make that many cookies. If this did happen though, it is possible the value of Timmy's mom's cookies would go down because it would be easier to unwind all of the pinky promises that had been made on the playground over the last few decades, and people just might not need Timmy's mom's cookies as much. The second option is we just keep going like we've been going. More pinky promises are made for future cookies that don't exist yet, and the entire playground is forced to bring more Belvitas and Oreos and other lower tier cookies just so they can afford things in the short term, because again, everything important is priced in Timmy's mom's cookies that those kids' parents can't make. This status quo would be positive for the price of Timmy's mom's cookies because it keeps the entire playground buying more and more and more of these cookies just to make trades in the important things that they want to get. And that constant buying from the rest of the playground is going to continue to push up the price of Timmy's mom's cookies no matter how many she makes. Because again, even if she makes a ton of cookies, all those other kids are going to need a bunch of new cookies in the short term just to make trades. The final option is that Timmy's mom stops baking altogether. Maybe she gets burnout, or she wants to join the military, or she gets some other hobby. In the real world, this would be called a default. And if
she wants to join the military or get some other hobby.
If that happens, the demand for Timmy's mom's cookies is going to come down a little bit, but the supply of Timmy's mom's cookies is going to crash through the floor. And that's because the playground has created all of these theoretical future cookie IOUs on paper that now are going to be impossible to fulfill. And counted in the supply of total Timmy's mom's cookies are all of those outstanding IOUs that if she stops baking are just going to be completely gone. Demand is going to fall too because some people will have like lost faith in Timmy's mom's cookies a little bit. But come on, bro, a chocolate chip cookie is still a chocolate chip cookie. What are you going to eat? Belvita? So when demand falls a little bit, but supply falls a lot, the price of Timmy's mom's cookies will actually increase sharply, not decrease. This increase in prices for Timmy's mom's cookies will ripple through the playground. And
okay, I think we got it. Okay. Milkshake, dollar milkshake theory. Kind of interesting. Shout out to Timmy's hot ass mom, by the way. Then a kid brings crumble. Yeah, GG. And everybody dies of fucking sugar poisoning. Chad, I'm sorry about Peter Schiff, dude. He's gonna come tomorrow on time, and it's gonna be awesome. The last thing today is it's a very important day because in about 1 hour, the national championship college basketball is happening. And I have a bet right here on Connecticut to win the whole thing that I bought at 14 cents. It's now worth 27 cents. I'm up 2x. And I know it's a doxed account, Eli's. It's okay. I have a lot of W stream got to move. Citrini analyst 3. Stop, bruh. It's been doxed, Eli's. It's okay. It's fucking secure and safe and untouchable. W stream got to move. Citrini analyst 3. Imagine. Hey, good looks though. I appreciate you. Okay, I bet at 14 cents that Connecticut wins the whole thing. And they won. Insane game against Illinois. And it's now at 27. And so I'm one leg away. Folks telling me to cash out. Take a hedge. But I say back to them, how about you take a chance? Let it ride. Jing Tao. Take a chance. Newsy Johnson. One team, one dream. Dan Hurley. We let it ride, brother. We let it ride, brother. Tonight, you should fucking watch it. Should I send a pit link in this chat or should I gatekeep it for today? What do you think? What do you guys think? Pit link or should I gatekeep? TD, what's the verdict on earlier stream? We have Schiff tomorrow. Okay, I'll gatekeep it. We have Schiff tomorrow. And then I have the sickest oil trader of all time, Rory Johnston, on Wednesday. So we will probably try an early stream on Thursday. Right? Why not? Fuck it. Try an early stream on Thursday is probably what I'm going to do. Also, yeah, if I'll make a promise. I'll make a promise to you guys. If UConn wins tonight, I swear we'll do the event and I'll pay for it. I'll pay for open bar with the event, with the funds. I swear if UConn wins tonight, we'll do the event. If they don't win, we still might do an event. I start stream at 3:30 p.m. EST every day. Every day. I am fucking sick. And you get a stream anyways because that's just what the fuck we do. I'm showing up every single day. I am sick. And this is my performance when I'm sick. So imagine what you get when I'm healthy. It's scary what you could get when I'm healthy. If this is me when I'm sick, it's terrifying the direction that this thing is going. And not only was I sick, but I planned an hour of material for stream before Peter Schiff pushed it back an hour and then moved stream to the next day, tomorrow. And that's a 3-hour banker. So this is a sick 1-hour stream. That was a banger 3-hour stream. So just imagine a healthy, full performance is unlike anything the world's ever seen.
Yo, what is my suggested FaceTime, bro? On God, this is weird as fuck. This is weird as fuck, bro.
Damn. No, I've never seen this clip, bro.
I bought your boyfriend's coin.
Oh,
Did you really?
Yeah.
What is it called? Launch coin?
No, it was literally his name.
Oh, Pasternak?
Yep.
Oh, and then did you make a lot of money from that?
I lost money.
TG, thanks for the gifted. That's it for 18 months and 11-month streak. GG.
I bought your boyfriend's coin.
Oh,
Did you really?
This is brutal, I'm not gonna lie. Damn, I can't even play this in good faith, bro. I can't even play it in good faith, man. I can't do it. Not today. I can't do it in good faith. I can't do it, man. I've been there before, low key. I've low key been right there. Man. I can't do it. I know how this goes. I can't do it. I can't do it. Focus on it, man. If you're hanging out with Jason the Ween, focus on yourself, King. Man. That's a tough one. All right. That's my sick performance with a cancellation. This is what the fuck we do. Citrini article number 3 day. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a lot more about the market, a lot more about trades. We have Peter Schiff coming on time at 5 p.m. EST. On Wednesday, we have the greatest oil trader in the world, the greatest oil analyst in the world, Rory Johnston, who's going to fucking crush it. When return to spaces, absolutely never. UConn plays today. If they win, we're going to be throwing an official counterparty event in New York City, and I will not be wearing the same shirt tomorrow because Malcolm got me Hawaiian shirts, and we have 5 of them. So I might switch every fucking hour. I might wear a Hawaiian shirt every day for the rest of the time. I could switch it up. You never know what might happen. You never know what I might wear. I might go Razzle mode and take that bitch off. I'm not sure what it is, what it looks like, or what it's going to look like, but you're going to see tomorrow because I'm live every day at 3:30 p.m. EST, which is actually more like 3:40 p.m. EST every single day. I'll be live tomorrow. I love you, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for thank you also for supporting. Check. You want to get your 0 2. Have a great rest of the day, later, motherfuckers. Peace.